I'm trying to say that my mother saw a good in me. And I wanted to make my mama happy. Just imagine rearing 9 living children in an indigenous society without health services, lack of food, problems, crime. It was difficult for my parents. And so my mother thought that at least one of us will be able to stand out when they are gone to fend for the others. I have vowed to do that, and I've been doing that. I'm not only fending for my mother's children, I fend for my tribe. I fend for my country. And therefore, I do not relent to continue to stand as long as there is life in me to do what I can to bring peace and justice to my land. I want to take this time to tell you thank you. As I have said, introducing myself, I come from a tribal element called Chea Cheapoo, a sub-tribe of the Grebo people. K-I-T-E-A-B-O. By record, we are warriors. We are a very small tribe, highly conservative, but we have vast land mass among bigger tribes surrounding us. My family, the Kolipo family, we are the Bodiers from time immemorial. Because when the die was cast, and some family members were needed to establish our tribe where we are now, it was the Kolipo family that came forward and made the supreme sacrifice. So I come from a family of leaders. My mother is the niece of the chairman of the True Whig Party, Paramount Chief Chea, Solo Chea. I remember sitting between his knees when he is judging and administering transparent justice up country before coming to school. And one day he told my father upon his visitation, I grew with my aunt. As I told you, my mother had 13 births. And this is how they rear us. When mama is stone pregnant and you are just walking, Auntie Raju will come and carry you to her. She didn't have any children. And the one that was before you, they will bring him back. Because then he is able to go and get water and do other things. And so I spent time in my mother's home, and I was able to be in his town, Soloblo, and I saw him dispensing justice. So I got interested in government. My mother visited me, or my father did. And Paramount Chief Chea told my father, take care of, he went for me to go to school. So the chief told my father, take care of this boy. Now you mon come and you clever Yula. It is Dwaya. This your son is the son of all your sons. So take care of him. And my father brought me, sent me to school. I went to Uncle Isaac, peace be to his ashes, in Harper City. He was a watchman in one of the business shipping companies in Harper. And so I stayed with him, we were watching. He attended the St. Teresa school, the Catholic school there, and I was in the house when he's not there. I started my school, and I did not go back until I got my college degree from America. Because of what my mother blessed me with, I didn't go through trouble about finding money. And I was not ashamed of my situation. And so, I parlayed well with all my equals. In school, yeah, I was not too brilliant, but I was sensible and an average student. I was aware of the subject matter and could relate to it when I was asked. And so, I came to Monrovia. My cousin Chea, who was the son of late Paramount Chief Chea, my mother's uncle, was taken by Tokman to come here to school. I was in Plivo at the time. And so when Paramount Chief Chea died, Uncle Chea, as I call him, came from Monrovia on the LNA plane to attend his father's funeral. And Uncle Chea was dressed beautifully. In those days, he had on his honor clothes, white, and had on this nylon shirt. And he attracted me beautifully. So I wanted to come to Monrovia. So, anyway, I was in the 7th grade, the 6th grade. So, after he left, President Tokman went to Cape Palmas with a yacht. And I wrote him I wanted to come to Monrovia to go to school. But I never got an answer. But a man who was on the delegation of the president, Thomas Ariland, he was an accountant, a Togolese. With a Togolese father, he settled in our district called Nyanyake. One morning, every morning while the president was visiting, I was in their house, in the late Wilson's house. He would come outside looking for the boys in the house to do something. But since I was just there sleeping with cousin Samuel. So I would be on the porch in the morning. Then he would look around, then say, "Good morning, sir." He would say, "Yeah, you I gave him my name. I spoke good English, and you were impressed." I said, "My name is Joe Sampson." And he said, "Okay, will you please give me some money?" I said, "Yes, I will go and bring the water." So we did that for some monies, some days. Then he asked me, "You say you wrote the president. Have you gotten the answer?" I said, "No, sir." He said, "All right, only president you want to carry Monrovia?" I said, "No, if I can get to Monrovia to go to school." He said, "All right, I will carry you." So Thomas Island brought me in a yacht. It was at the time when President Barclay died, and President Tokman did not travel in a yacht to come back, but he came with LNA, the plane. So we got on a yacht and we came here. We landed here at the port. I lived with Thomas Ariland and his family. I attended this place we used to call Monkey Camp, Monrovia College, which is now the African Methodist University there. I went to school there, and my mother, stepmother, I was living with Thomas Ariland's wife, and she was not too receptive about me. For some reason, she said I was frisky. But I was not frisky, but I was very committed to my school business. I did not like people sending for me when I'm in class, and people thinking my underestimated my commitment for my school. And so I had problem with her. She had problem with me. Anyway, then I used to help one of my friends who was a police officer living with the late Councillor Chesson, Joseph Chesson. So I said, Jacob, I'm looking for somebody to live with, man. The place where I live in right there on Ken Johnson Road. A woman there giving me hard time. She would call me out of class and all that kind of thing. And on a day we having class, like Monday morning, then she said, "I'm gonna wash clothes." I don't have problem washing clothes. I'm able to wash clothes. But she would do it on a school day, on Saturday and other days. She would want me to do different things. Then on Monday morning when we're supposed to go to school, then she said she dish out a whole lot of clothes from the closet and said, I'm going to wash it. So Jogapo said, okay. He talked to Councillor Chesson, who was the Attorney General, for me to stay there. So they invited me. Chesson invited me that afternoon, and I went there. He asked for my name. Mommy was sitting there, Mrs. Chesson, Leona Chesson, and he asked me a question, and I answered with clean English. I was not just an ordinary country boy who came to school. I was an enlightened country boy. So the woman said, he know plenty. So he speak good English. That's what she said. Mommy started having confidence in me the very day she met me. We call her Mommy. Then Councillor Chesson said, so you told Jacob Coe you want to stay here? I said, yes, sir. He said, okay, if you steal, I'll put you in the post tacky. I will lock you up. Before I got there, the boys that were living with Chesson stole the police guns that he stored in his house for safety. And so he was very concerned about stealing. So he told me, if you steal, I'll put you in jail. I said, all right, sir. So he said, you can go and bring your things. He called Jacob Coe. He said, you take the car, let him go to the place. Tell the people I will want for him to stay with me. I said, okay. Jacob Coe went with me in a black car. So you see, I started riding a black car a long time from here. So we went down to Camp Johnson Road. Luckily, Thomas Ireland was there and Mrs. Ireland was there. Both of them were there. And Jacob Coe told them that Honorable Chesson had asked him to stay with him, and he accepted me. But he didn't want to take me from here unless he informed them. So Ireland said, okay. But Joe, if you want to go, you wouldn't tell me. I will find you somebody. That's why he said, I didn't say anything. I picked up my thing, and I went to Chesson. I went right here on Ashmont Street, that old house. People not there now, it was a frame house, had upstairs and downstairs. That's where I went to school. The year I got in Chesson House, the year after that, I was finishing an elementary school. We took the Tuckman Scholastic Test, and I became second in math and second in English. So I got a scholarship. It was time for me to go to I got a scholarship to go to BWI for 4 years. My stepfather, Attorney General Joseph Chesson, had gone to, along with Foreign Minister, Secretary of State Graham, had gone to France. They were there for 6 months negotiating the boundary between Liberia and Guinea. So I went to school that morning. Chesson was not disposed for me to accept the scholarship. He wanted me to stay here in Monrovia and attend the laboratory high, you know, the high school in the University of Liberia. But I didn't want to do that. I wanted to go to school in Kipa. So Mommy made a decision in the absence of Pa Chesson that I should go on to BWI since I got a scholarship. So I went there on BWI. On BWI, I did well in school. I was not a brilliant student, but I passed my lessons and I was well known among my friends. The teachers knew me. I was a student leader. I was president of the junior class, and I was chairman of the sanitary committee on BWI. During my tenure, I used to tell seniors, if you don't clean your thing, you will not go to school. So people got to know me, and I liked being among people and active. I finished high school, I came. Mommy granted me a scholarship to go abroad. She sent me to University of North Carolina, called the North Carolina Central School, Law School. North Carolina Central University, and then I have the North Carolina Central Law School. I went there. She said, I will pay you way for 1 semester. I know the second semester you will be able to put yourself through school. The thing to do when you get there, they got a dining hall there. You can work in the dining hall. You could work in the library of the university. You could be part of the cleaning in the university and be cutting grass, or a maintenance man in the dormitory. That will help to pay for your tuition. I said, yes, ma'am. She paid my way. It was $400 to go to America in those days. And I got to New York. When I got to New York, I took a bus and went on to North Carolina, Durham. And I started my school. My tuition was paid, and so I didn't have any problem. They gave me a space in dormitory, and I was there. I passed my initial test. The second semester, I didn't have any tuition. I went to the office and told them that I didn't have tuition, but I wanted to be in school. So they said that there was a man called Philip Stokes. He made available a certain amount of money from his estate in New York City, that if Africans go to America, any black man, youth who didn't have money and wanted to be in school, that person they could take money from his estate to finance the education. So I went through school on the scholarship of Philip Stokes Fund from New York City. And that's for my tuition, books, but my board and room, that is where I slept and what did I eat. I work in the kitchen, in the dining hall. First of all, I work in the kitchen. I help the cook to cook the university students food. And from there, then they send me to the pantry. I was responsible for people, juniors, who were washing dishes, making the plate ready. And it was an industry when the time to eat, thousands of students. Of course, there were plenty of girls, 7 girls to 1 boy. We were about 7,000 students, black. You see, it's part of one black and white boys, white boys, black women and white girls and boys in our school. At the time, Martin Luther King was raving America for reform. And so they tried to integrate the school. So I work in the library, in the dining hall. I like working to the dining hall because I like to drink plenty of milk. So it was enjoyable. It was not a labor for me. I go to the dining hall, I ate plenty, and I came from a home where food was hard to find, so you give me plenty of food, I will eat it. So I enjoy myself there working in the dining hall. When I got to be in the second year, I got a job in the library. I work in the library, so I'm a devout librarian. But I didn't like packing books and checking people how many books they took and when they brought it. I didn't think it was a good endeavor for me. So I didn't go into library science. At the junior class, I made an application to go to the NCC Law School. I went and took the test. You do take the test in those days in the junior class. So I was able to pass. Then they call it aptitude test, law aptitude test. After our senior year, I got admitted in the school. I went to school, president of the student body from Africa. I participated in the law review writing. I wrote my article. I think it was republished in the law school here. In fact, I'm beginning to think now, I think I'll go in the law school and start teaching. I just forget. Okay, I'll do that. So I wrote an article in the law journal. I haven't seen the law journal for a long time. So I think when I go start teaching, I will be editor of that law journal so we can have one more here. Because when I came from school, we had one. And I published something on land ownership and use in Africa. And so I had information about the problem now that they're having in Zimbabwe, where most of the arable land that taken by the settlers, the Indians, the white folks that took over Zimbabwe and many parts of Africa. And how here, the indigenous land, we don't have any land anymore. Our government declared that the land was for government and that they can take it, misappropriate it, and do anything with it. You just have to move. And so I wrote an article on that. So you see, from the beginning, I've been very active. All right, I finished college, I came home. I didn't want really I wanted to be a lawyer, and I didn't want to, since I didn't want to work just anywhere. So I wrote my name. I went to Daily Listener, the newspaper in town at the time, and published an advertisement and told them that I was a law student, a graduate from this school, and I want a job. Well, the Daily Listener published an article and put my picture to the bottom of my story. I didn't like that. My picture was supposed to be to the top of the story, not to the bottom of it. I didn't like it. They put my picture all the way to the last of the page. Well, people look up, they don't look down. I didn't like that. Anyway, so I later on I wrote President Tuckman to work in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, they call it, State Department in those days. They said they had a position there. So I wrote President Tuckman. The answer was not forthcoming. So Oliver Bright right here, Simpson and Simpson Law Firm, Simpson and Bright Law Firm, they asked me, I went there looking for a job and they gave me a job. So I started my practice right on the Honor Justice Department. There I practiced law, and then later on, Secretary Graham gave me a job and wanted me to come and work in the State Department as the legal counsel. In those days, the State Department legal counsel was equivalent to that of Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs. But when I got there, Tuckman wrote the letter appointing me. I got a copy of it. But Graham did not give me the job. Graham gave the job to my friend Henry Reed Cooper, who was his cousin. I didn't like that. Okay, because Henry Reed Cooper had applied. And of course, there was a rift between the Cooper family and the Tuckman in some election of the True Whig Party. And so they didn't answer Henry Cooper. But when they answered me, they appointed me, I got a copy of the letter. And then they called me there. But when I went there, I didn't get the job. Instead, they made me economic officer at the State Department. I worked there for some time. I didn't want to be an economist. So I got another job with Warren Jones at Ministry of Commerce Industry down there on Camp Johnson Road. And I worked there for some time. All right. Then in 1975, Senator Conway of Grand Jeda County passed. He was representing Lower Grand Jeda, which is a Grable Belt. Upper Grand Jeda is the Crown Belt. He was living there. He died. So I decided to run for the Senate. And I wrote, one of the reasons why I left to run for office was this. I went to the Ministry of Lands and Mines, wanted a legal counsel, and they were providing more money than in Justice Department. And even when I was in Justice Department, during President Turbo administration, I was prepared when Steve Turbo decided, Minister of Finance decided to do the review of concessions agreement, Firestone, Lamco, and the others. Then in those days, the timber company was beginning to come. I worked with the concession secretariat and Ministry of Finance as a lawyer to review. But when time comes to have meeting on a high level, Simpson would take a different person, Clarence Simpson. He would not take me. I was in charge of concession review. He would not take me. He would take somebody else to go to a meeting. I think he was boycotting me. I didn't like that. All right. So I decided then I'm not going to be working. I can't do the work when time comes to go to a bigger meeting for people to know me. Then you carry somebody else. Anyway, before I left Justice Department, President Turbo wanted to know why is it that President, Speaker, and the Chief Justice were not paying income taxes. They have passed the Liberian income tax law. But these people, nobody dare collect tax from President's salary, the Chief Justice, and the other Vice President. They didn't pay taxes. So they went to a cabinet meeting, and President Turbo wanted to know whether he could get Justice Department opinion on whether or not he should pay taxes as president. I'm trying to tell you who I am. So bear patient. we are here for that today. So all of us, we met down there on the last window down in Justice Department there. And everybody said, well, you know, yeah, the president has to pay tax because they are the leader of the country. And these are the three main leaders, the judiciary, and, you know, the vice president, and then, you know, so. Well, I look at the income tax law. Every public civil servant must pay tax, income tax to the government if you are working with government. All right. That's what the law says. So I wrote my memorandum to Clarence Simpson, then Minister of Justice, that yeah, the president is a public servant, he's a civil servant. According to the law, all civil servants pay taxes. Chief Justice is also a public servant. And the vice president is a public servant, they should pay taxes. They went to a meeting at the ministry, at the executive mansion. They made all the report, and Justice Ministry said, but I got one opinion. The majority wrote that they should not pay tax. The president, vice president, and chief justice. But my memorandum was single one that said they should pay tax by virtue of the law, that they were public servants, civil servants. I was sitting in the office there, and Clarence Simpson sent his big long car, and he said, I'm going to come to a cabinet meeting. It's the first time I didn't know. In fact, I didn't even know people were having meetings there. So I got in the car when I reached there. I got in, then I saw all these well-dressed, highly respected Liberians sitting down. These were cabinet minister, not Turbo. So Turbo said, come in. So I came in. Then he gave me a chair. I sat down. And he said, you are the one in Justice Department, you wrote, say, I'm going to pay taxes. You're not president of Liberia. I said, he said, stand up. I said, what kind of trouble did today? So I stood up. So he said, yeah, I'm asking you a question. You say that the president must pay tax? You ever see that? I said, yes, sir. I said that. I wrote a memorandum. He said, yes, so I'm asking you now. I said, yes, sir, you're supposed to pay tax because you are a civil servant according to the law. He said, I cited the section in my letter when I was writing the Minister of Justice. He said, so I said, yeah, because you are a civil servant, civil servant. And then there's no exclusion made in the statute saying that the vice president, vice president, and chief justice should not pay taxes. No exception, sir. Since you are, to me, even though you are elected to your office and other people are appointed, but then you are a public servant, civil servant. You work with government. For me, anybody who works with government is a civil servant. He said, and I said, yes, sir. He said, all right. Simpson, I want him to make him what is he doing now? He said, well, he's a legal counsel. He said, all right, let him be assistant minister, create a position for assistant ministership and let him be the assistant minister. So the president on first sight gave me a job. And who did it? President William R. Turbo. And you know I'm going to like him because he's the only one who looked in the trash can, in the trash basket and took me out that I could be a paper that can be straightened and have use. God was already thrown away. I come from the village. I got no family connections. I was just here. In fact, Chesson asked me to be Joe Chesson III. Well, I took that name because I feel that he said if I didn't take the name, I would graduate in then. If you don't take my name, then I will not support you. I have nothing to do with your graduation. So I told the people at BWI, y'all can put Joseph J. Chesson III. Y'all put on mine. So I did that. Well, I did that to move on. Nothing can stop me. I must move. I have a problem being called somebody named temporarily because I knew what I was going to do when I got of age and capable to sustain, to be my own man. At that time, I was not my own man. I was just a student. So I took Chesson's name. On my diploma today, you see Joseph J. Chesson III. I went to America with that name. My grandfather Mr. Cheapoo, his name is Chea Cheapoo. Chea Cheapoo was a very hard man to work with. He was very dynamic and strict. When the time meet tomorrow or today and say tomorrow all of us are going to clean the road leaving from the Gabriel Tucker Bridge all the way to Douala, and everybody should be there first thing in the morning, the country devil will be there. Women should not go on that side of the farm because men will be working there. My grandfather will be the first person there with his palm wine. And if you come late, you and him will have problems. So he was a strong public servant, strict and dynamic. For some reason, I got that instinct of my grandfather. And so you and I can be doing something, it had to be right. I don't get anything by doing that. It's not I get plenty bad name about it. People tend to shun me, maybe they're afraid of me because they think I will expose them. I don't go around exposing you. I just will not join you. I will not do it. If it's not right, I will not do it. If the president's supposed to pay taxes, I will tell him he must pay taxes because that's what the law says. I'm not going to say this and that, beg the issue. This is how I have been all along. Anyway, having known President Tauber from my first interaction with him, when Kamwe died in 1975, I got a job. I was not being paid properly, so I got a job with Ministry of Lands and Mines. They were paying more money to me than Assistant Minister of Justice. So I wanted to take the job. And Simpson didn't want me to leave the office, the Justice Department. So he blocked me with the Minister of Lands and Mines, and I didn't get the job. I ain't like that. I don't want people blocking me. So I left the Justice Department and went up country. I'm saying all I did to let you know that I am my own man. Let me say what this man Al Gore told the American people, even though I work with Bill Clinton, but I am my own man. I make my own decisions. So I left, I went up country to make farm. I set up a company called JEDECO, JEDEC Development Corporation. We were involved in farming, leaving law and going to agriculture. I went up country, and I didn't only just do agriculture for myself. I saw to it that the deed that my people were aspiring for which I was interpreter in Plebo, Maryland County, to Chief Justice Jack Dash Wilson, who was a lawyer for our tribe. There was always a confrontation for land. I told you there are big tribes that are surrounding us, but we got more land than they do because we used to fight them. My father is one of the heroes with the Glaros. He killed their hero right in the center of our town, who happened to be my mother's relative. So I saw to it that we got that land. I got the land, I bought the land, redeemed it from Dash Wilson through my wife. When I was coming home, I fell in love with one lady called Marvel Morse. Marvel Morse, at the time when I was in Cleveland, Ohio, after I graduated, Marvel Morse was all in the paper. She was the first best teacher in reading in the primary school. And so she got an award. So that was cool, huh? So very educated, you know, and you got this notoriety in the paper, in the white paper where there's discrimination and all of that. So I met her with Brogan. Brogan was a cook for one of the Methodist preachers. He went to America there and he was working. So I visited him, he said, somebody is coming. I'm having a dance here and a birthday party for my girlfriend. I had some friends would be coming. I was alone at the time, I didn't have a girlfriend. I left my girlfriend in North Carolina. And I was shy with women, my people. I didn't get into this thing. I was told to do it before I started with my business. I did not get into it. I didn't like women, and I was not too friendly with them. But now I am the lover of women because I know what they can do. Yeah. So I went to dance with Marvel. you know how we can dance here. We Liberian boy, we dance, and beat the way how we used to dance. So I started dancing, then I stepped in on my foot. But the guy know how to dance. Who teach you like that? See, now, I said, Mao, you can't dance? Say, yeah. Anyway, we got interested and we married. And we came home. Mao's father was a trucker. He had a truck company. This is a man who couldn't read and write, the American Negro, as they call them, black man. He takes his truck and distribute or transport building materials. You just imagine the city of Cleveland, how big it is. And when we were there in those days, it was just, black people were just, people were building. There was a movement there to build a new class. Black people had universities and you know, people were getting educated and they had money. And Mr. Moss was transporting, he had plenty of money. I took money from my father-in-law and bought the land. I didn't just go up country, this is what I did. So I am the first indigenous student who left home, came to school, graduated, went back and did something for my people. The very land they used to fight war for, they don't have to fight war now. They own the land legally. My grandfather fought the hero as a hero. But then I decided, well, we don't need to fight about that. This is a legal matter. So we made sure we got the land, we got the deed. I got it right now in my trunk. So they got land. They don't have to fight for it anymore. All right. Then I decided, well, since I'm already in Grand Jede County, Senator Campbell died, and I want to run for Senate. So I began to campaign for the Senate. Jackson E. Doe from Nimba County, President Torbo, they were my advisor. So Jackson Doe told me, well, the thing to do is get one cow for Torbo, one cow for Speaker Henry, and one cow for Mike DeShee. He was chairman of the True Whig Party in those days. I said, all right. So I got the cows. I put it in the pickup. I carry it. I always drive pickup. I'm still driving it today. I drove it myself. My wife now tells me, Mama soon say I'm too old. I am not old, please. So I drive my pickup. And I was supposed to have a small stroke. But because I am driving my pickup, my left hand is supposed to be paralyzed. I am not sick. The left leg now is more stronger than the right leg. And this is where I felt the pain. Because I have to use the clutch to change the gear and all of that. That gave me strength. And I think driving car at my age is like running every morning. It's physically fit. You have to turn the wheel. My power steering is not working anymore, so I have to turn it with my arms. My stomach moving. So I'm physically fit every morning. And I ran for the Senate. I asked President Torbo, went to Bentor. At the time the old man was building his place there. And he talked with me. President Torbo liked to talk to people. He was a very good progressive. But he was in the midst of an establishment. And his advisors were very conservative. So he could not expound or undertake his progressive stance. Even though he died in the process, but Torbo was between two pillars. The young people were for change, but he was in the midst of old people who were very conservative and were not prepared to change. So he didn't know he was bound by this. He was enslaved by this condition. At times, President Torbo wanted to be liberal, but his True Whig Party hegemony would not let him do that. Because everything they did, they have to have meeting. They have a chairman. They have a secretary general. All the great officials of the government were all True Whig Party members. And he could not just do anything. The only thing I see is that it's the system that confronted me, you, President Torbo, and the True Whig Party. The people who built this building you're in now. They were too strict in what they believed. they were not prepared to change. And all of us that work with them, Tobo sustained death unnecessarily. We got bad name. I'm still talking. I'm still answering questions. Not just the TRC asking me to come talk here this morning. People still ask me about the things that happened when we were working for change here. Boys meet me, say, you remember I was in jail with y'all, and when y'all got in power, you never gave us any job. Even though I put some of the boys, many boys that I knew, I just threw them in the police force. I said, you, that was illegal, but that was a revolutionary stance. You, the boys who could be sent quickly, I said, okay, y'all making sergeant, make them on lieutenant, make that other man private, make them, you go to CID. People who used to bring messages to us and go to the soldier and get message from us, and go to Richard Henry house and get information from the cook and other things. They were CID people because that was the work they were doing. So, Tobo introduced me to Abba White, who was the superintendent. I am a citizen of Grand Jede County, and I live, in fact, it was Abba White. I took my wife, after Simpson blocked me not to get a good job, I learned some money as a lawyer. I took my wife and we went. And I was going in my village to stay with my American children and my American woman. The Abba White is the one who called me that morning and said, well, he was superintendent at the time. Let me drink some water, my people. Abba White told me, Cheapoo, you bring the American woman from a big city, and you say you're going to the village, you got hospital there, and I said, yeah, but she's a good teacher, she will go and set up a school. He said, well, first of all, no school there, and you're not working. So when y'all get there, the woman will not be working. Where you will get money to set up a school? Y'all got to build a schoolhouse and do this and get students, all that kind of thing. It will take time. No people in the village don't have money to pay tuition and this and that. So how are you going to manage? You're going to go down. I know you're not able to make farm and cut steak and burn a place, and your wife plan the rest. You're not disposed to doing that. So since you want to come home, stay. I'm simpleton here. Stay in the city. At least I would recommend a woman, she can be teaching in the school, since she's a teacher. And you can be practicing your law. And you lawyer? I said, yes, sir. It's all right. Then you call his special assistant. He said, come and, I saw a house there that the missionaries were using for guest house. They're not there now. I said, yes, okay. You must rent it to Mr. Cheapoo and his family, so they're going to stay here. That's how I got in his bedroom. But when I was running for Senate, Abba White was not supporting me. He wanted one old man called Gibson. I knew I had something to do for them. But Abba White thought that the old man should be the first to get a chance. In those days, that's what the True Whig Party does. First come first. But when President Tobo went to Grand Jede County to raise funds for the Methodist school compound that is there now, I gave them $500 Liberian in those days, and I was not plenty of money. I used to practice law up there, and those of you who are young people, I want to tell you now in saying, if you are a lawyer, don't get your law degree and just sit down in Monrovia. There's plenty of money there, up country. When I went up country, my practice became better. I got more money. Because they will give me cows. They will give me goats. They will give me clean rice. They will do things for me. People will keep animal and take it all the way from Town. They say, I killed this deer, and so I wanted to, I don't want to sell it, so I bring it to you, Counselor. So I have meat in the house, I have rice, I have different things. I like to eat something they call bitter roll. People will make bitter roll for me. So I had a nice time, more than what I had in Monrovia here. So when you get your education, go home. Don't go to the village unless you're close to the capital of the county. Go to the village and pursue your educational endeavor or your professional endeavor. Don't go in the country. The way to get a job, and if you want to be a politician, it doesn't matter, but go back to your village. I went to my village, and it was easy for me to, I didn't even go in representative town. I went straight to the Senate. All my government job, I take the big one. I don't take small one. So when I was, yes, well, you got to hang your wagon to a star. You want to do something, you do it well. When I got ready to marry, I made sure I married an educated woman. And so, and I found a woman who had a very good beginning financially. So I didn't have problem. Mawa pay our way to come here. Me, I arrived here with $10 in my pocket. When I got here, I called her, Mawa, the $10 I brought, cousin Tia didn't have a fitting place to stay, so I had to take that $10 and rent a room. And I got malaria, so I'm sick. Mawa had to send me money. But when I took her home, she knew, she got to know that this was not just a pauper that she married. There was a man that came from some family, some background that worth notice and respect and was to be respected. So go back home. When you graduate, go back. Don't linger around Claratown, New Crew Town, Central Monrovia and waste your time. You want to be a politician? Go back home. Let the Maserado boys take over Maserado. You go back home like I did. That is the way to start. It's very easy. You know your people and you are in a better position because you're one of the best. So I went home and President Talbot told Superintendent White at the end of his journey, his stay in Zedru, he took my hand at the end of the city. Every time I reach that spot, I want to cry. And he took my hand and put it in Abba White's hand. He said, there is some good in the man, so support him. So, sorry, I left the podium. In other words, he told me that there's some good in me, so Abba White should support me. So, I was elected by the True Whig Party as a senator. There are 24 electoral districts in Grand Jede County, and this is how the True Whig Party made its decision. We didn't do it by popular vote. We did it by administrative vote. I had resolution, and the rule was give resolution to one candidate, and the country, our indigenous people knew that. The True Whig Party chairman in the very electoral district knew better that you gave only one recommendation, one resolution to one candidate. Look among all the candidates, and each district you give one resolution. You don't give it to, not the thing we do here, when Peter comes, you're getting resolution, then Henry comes, you're getting resolution, no. So they gave me, out of the 24 electoral districts, I was able to get 21 resolutions, right here in the True Whig Party building. And Ometua told the president, the True Whig Party delegate, that's how you win election in the True Whig Party. They control the system. You got electoral resolution from each district. Then you put the ballots together, those resolutions, and you bring them to the True Whig Party meeting. Then at that meeting, they will be sitting just like this, and they will call each candidate. And they will ask the chairman of the party, how many resolutions is candidate Peter has or candidate Cheapoo has? I had 21 resolutions out of 24. So I became senator. I got to be senator through the True Whig Party without even knowing. I ain't run campaign. I ain't spend no money. I ain't do nothing. I don't know. Every time I lay in my bed, is this the better system? It's cheaper. You don't have to work, spend plenty of money. The 24 electoral district, my expenses were very small. You know, and at that time, Marva sent for money from her father. And so we had enough money. We always have a pickup, plenty of gas. And so it was easy for me to get to be a senator. I got to be a senator through the True Whig Party. I got in the Senate, but I didn't forget my Cheapooism. It had to be right if I'm going to participate. If it's not right, you got problem with me. And I will not relent to let you know I'm not doing it. So I got in the Senate. They asked us to pray. And President Pro Tempore of the Senate, Frank Talbot, said, gentlemen, let us pray. He didn't say rise up. He said, let us pray. So everybody stood up. Me, I turned around and kneeled on my chair. After that prayer, Everybody was standing there, so when they say amen, they were all looking. Me, I had to get up from my knees. And Frank Tober had a problem about that. He said, why we tell people praying and we all standing, then you kneeling. You're not supposed, when you get in back town, you do as the back do. I said, well, I thought this was the Liberian Senate. This is my constitutional right to pray as I wish, the freedom of religion. All of you can stand up when you talk to your God. But when I talk to my God, I kneel. That's why I knelt. Now you're telling me this and that, so I'm not going to do that. He said, all right. So he went and told his brother, President Tobo, about the upstart boys that got in there. He said he's senator. He's an upstart. And he always saying that his constitutional right. So President Tobo, every time we meet, he will say, constitutional right. And I say, constitutional right. And that's the name me and the old man had. All right. So, Frank Tobo is a lawyer. Richard Henry, the speaker, is a lawyer. There were plenty of lawyers in there. Well, I had my law firm from Grand Jede County when I came. So, I was a senator. I had a law firm and I was practicing. And one company that is in Claretown there, they used to make marbles, you know, tiles that we call tiles for the house. And they asked me to represent them. Well, I came back to the Simpson Law Firm. And Simpson Law Firm that was representing that factory told me to go to court on this matter. So I went, when Simpson, Boiler Holder, I was a young lawyer. So they told me to go to court. So I went to court and I won the case. I ejected the man. He was wrongfully on the company property. He was working. He lost his job because of theft, and he was still living there. So we ousted him through the process of law. The Liberian Senate said, I went to court and as senator, and that was unbecoming of a senator. Oh, you yourself talking, Frank Tobo, you yourself lawyer. You got law firm. And the speaker of the house got law firm, the Henry's law firm. And I have seen Henry's go to cases when it's very important. Yeah, he might not stand up and plead, but he will go to the Supreme Court and take a chair and sit there. And the Chief Justice knows who's sitting there in this case. That's how he pleaded law. So I went to court, the True Whig Party hegemony inside the, what they call the Senate, Liberian Senate. They say that, this was 1977. They say that I did something that was unbecoming of a senator. So they expelled me from the Senate through a joint resolution. I got one fellow called Joseph Andrews. I will go look for Joseph Andrews because Joseph Andrews is crying on the radio now saying he's sick. Well, Joseph Andrews was the man who made testimony. We all come from Weber District. He made testimony against me and when they were impeaching me from the Senate. So I will look for him, but they say he's sick. I will look for late money and go see him. He's my friend. Anyway, I was impeached. And I didn't like that. I thought it was gross advantage on the part, taken of me on the part of True Whig Party. And why these people, when you're working with them, they always try to do all kind of things to you. You think Frank Tobo's son will be treated like that? None of their children will be treated like that. But because my father was not among them, neither was my mother. So they just treated me any kind of way. And I didn't like it. So I decided to react against the True Whig Party. And I did. When I left the Senate, I went first to Tipote with his moja. I went that morning, I talked to Dr. Tipote. Y'all take your Noro, we're coming near there. Dr. Tipote and I talk. And we always, when I was in Kepamas, I used to like to go on the beach and go swim with the crew boys. So I know crew very well. And every time I see Dr. Tipote, I always speak crew, Bobby. And so at that morning, looking for somewhere to go, just coming from the Senate, my name all in the paper, all the radio, how I did something unbecoming of a senator, all kind of things. So I was expelled from the Senate and all kinds of things. Every day, Cheapoo. So I said, I didn't pay attention to them. I decided what I was going to do. I was going to look for one of the ringleaders of the progressive movement. the True Whig Party got to go. I made up my mind. They expelled me, I was going to nationally work to expel them from politics. And I did. So, I know a building there. I don't know why government can't take it over. In fact, that land belonged to Liberian government, not for True Whig Party. That is the last place of the American Colonization Society spot right there. It's not for True Whig Party, but they took it because they had the power. If I ever make up my mind, I will file suit in court at the appropriate Supreme Court when it's sitting. We take that land and make it government land. It's not True Whig Party building. If you build any kind of mansion on my land, you got no title, that mansion go to me. Because you have no right there. So that building is the government building. So, I went to Tipote. We sat down that morning, we talked. He said he was having a meeting with Burma family, Sawyer, and Kamini Wisa and Du Mason. Those were the Moja boys. I said, all right. We waited all the afternoon. Talk. And in the afternoon, Sawyer came in, Burma family came in, and the other majority of them had gathered. So then he said that, Councillor, excuse me. I said, all right. He left me. He asked me if I could participate in the meeting, but he left me sitting, and he went in there, had a meeting with these other people. So as I told his boy, after staying there for a long time, I know that they were in there now, deliberating on their meeting. So I sent there. I said, tell Dr. Cheapoo so that I'm outside here. He said, okay. The boy went and came and said, I told him. I said, okay. Later on again, I sent there. He said, tell him I'm coming. So I picked up my bag and left. I was not welcome. And I still tell him that the people that discriminated against me. I'm an upstart native boy like himself. Like he was crying here, he had no shoes. We all came from the same stock. Then he will go have meeting with a Sawyer or this person, and he will invite me. Then when I sit there, when the audience come, then he will exclude me and tell me he's coming. He did not forget about me. I took exception. So I walk out. So I heard about the Progressive Alliance of Liberia, PAL. So I'm looking for somewhere to go now. I'm looking for allies for my war of change. So I decided to go to progressive people because I was rejected by the Moja people. So I said, well, okay, I'll go. First, my first choice was to go to Moja, but Moja rejected me. So then, in essence, what they did, I felt it as a rejection. So then I went to down on Gurley Street there. They had a PAL meeting. So I went there. As soon as I walked in, our late chairman, G. Bago Murphy, walk out, say, yeah, our lawyer has come. Just say, I can't leave it. Well, I smart and bring it because I'm going to be dancing here. Oh, that's here. Testing. All right. Bago Murphy walked out and stretched forth his hand and welcomed me as the lawyer for Progressive People's Party, for the PAL, Progressive Alliance of Liberia. Oh, I ain't even telling me what I'm here for. Maybe I was here on a private business. Then you go give me job already, a lawyer. So I accepted the job because that's what I was looking for anyway, a place to stay. So I became a member of the Progressive Alliance of Liberia. And I took part in all the Central Committee meetings. In our Central Committee meetings, the only thing we really usually dwell on, how we were going to be able to form a political grouping that we had control over as young people. So, people who were fighting, go to court. I went to Cape Mount. I never saw Cape Mount before. I went there to release people from jail. My father said Chesson was then Minister of Justice for what is his name? For the Toba government. He was first removed, then when things became critical, they brought Chesson back. I went to Nimba. I was in Nimba representing Doki, Sam Doki, and other people who were being in prison. At the same time, Toba was visiting there for a development meeting in Sanikwele there. When we came back, that's the time Bago Matthew and some boys tried to go to the mansion to to make a protest. When I came from them, we had a Central Committee meeting. I told Bacchus, I said, Bacchus, if we're looking for president, it won't be you. I'm not going to replace Bacchus Matthew with a turbo. So we're going to get one countryman who either named Chea or named Dote. He's going to be the president. First of all, I dare your approbation for going to the mansion after 6 o'clock when the flag is down to go make political protest. That was erroneous, and that was a bad decision you made. Mind you, the power is not your pocket thing. All of us are inside here, and we are the ones dying and suffering. So if you think you're going to run power in your pocket, the True Whig Party, the president or chairman can run, few people running, it will not be there. We have a Central Committee. If you know you want to march on the mansion at night time, you should let the Central Committee know so they can properly advise you. But you risk the life of our members. So you're not going to be our president. Chea, you know I told you. So, Bacchus Matthew and I, we had difference of opinion. Then, as we continue, when we have meetings, especially in March, when Turbo used to invite us to try to negotiate. At one time, he wanted to put our members in the government. So we said, well, if you put in the government, you will be swallowed. And when you're in the system stomach, the little thing you're going to be digested, and all the other variable in you will be going to the various parts, and you will be split, and you will not be able to do anything. So we can't take government job. What we want, we're calling for a by-election so that we can have our own candidate. Turbo did not accept that. All right. So we were there. After the Rest Riot, I wish I was a participant. I didn't take part in the Rest Riot at the time. I went to represent the Assembly of God Church as a lawyer. They were having problems with the missionary. They wanted to take the church over, and the missionary still wanted to leave it. They wanted to go, but the missionary wanted to dispose of the property. So they asked me to be their lawyer. I got to be their lawyer when I was in Justice Department. So I didn't attend that meeting. But then I was living at the Brewerville mission. There where I was living at the time when they had this Rest Riot. The Rest Riot was deadly. But this is what happened. The Progressive People's Party, being not progressive but PAL being an activist organization dedicated to agitation and change, and had his own newspaper and could tell the public. In fact, when we didn't have newspaper, this is how we used to do. Those of you who want to be in the rank, want to take part in change. When you don't have money to publish your own newsletter or your newspaper, just get the newsboys. Tell them when they get their paper and ready to sell it, just put your circular inside there. That's how we used to let everybody know. Before we get something to do, President Turbo will know it. Because he reads the newspaper and he will see our circular inside the paper. That's how you do it, easily. And the newspaper printer will not know, even if they know they have nothing to do with it. Usually you pay your money and get your paper. And they pay you for selling it, so you can do anything with it. But later on we formed our own newspaper, The Revolution, and we used to write. I did not see, I'm the lawyer now, work with government, and the government of True Whig Party was very segregative in giving native people jobs. They wanted the group that came, they wanted to be the leader at all times, and it was not possible. They were getting smaller, they died quicker here because of the climate, they got different approbation in their body because they came from America. But we were born here, and we were born resistant to some diseases, but they were not able to do that. So their population was not increasing. But as civilization, education rose, government spread throughout the country people got to be aware of this good society, new one, where you don't really have to bend down and be cutting bush and this and that and sweating. There was an easier way to live. You come to Monrovia and be educated, you will make it. So we did that. All right. They refused. They didn't like it. They called the Central Committee members, the leadership, to go to the mansion. Their negotiation broke down because they didn't want us to have the march. Well, he said, why y'all want to, when government take action, then why you just an organization called out? Business you got to do. Well, we wanted to be known by action, by the way we do things. We want to participate politically. We wanted to let the old people know that we wanted another speaker too. They were not only the speaker. We wanted them to pass this dice back to us. And we wanted them to know that we were ready to receive it at the appropriate time. And we didn't want to do it unlawfully. We wanted to do it in keeping with the dictates of our Constitution and the laws of Liberia. And I always told them, this is not legal. This is not legal. That is not legal. I told our Central Committee, making a march at the mansion in the nighttime was illegal. After 6 o'clock, the flag is down. Anything can happen. They didn't have any security approbation to go march in the night toward mansion. It was wrong. I told them that. Yeah, you know I did. And therefore, when the president said they didn't want us to march, I felt that maybe we should give it another time. But the Central Committee decided, it's not one man, that we were going to right away let know, since President Tobo was not disposed to reducing the price or changing his opinion, then we're going to let him know that that was not right. And certainly the increase in rice was wrong. Because at the time people were making small money. Government couldn't pay. Government was paying, but government was paying nothing. That's why you have, when you go to administrate, when somebody signs you paper, or the mentioner tell the chief that you come to see him, you got to give him something they call dash. To augment his salary, his income, the government were not paying anything. While few people were getting millions, they will go and borrow money to do development. They divide it among themselves. And so when the payroll for government is late, they will call Richie Henry. They will call President Tobo. They will call Frank Tobo. They will call their clique. And each of them will donate money. But when the loan comes, they will take that development loan and pay each of them. So by the time we got in the street, they got billions in banks, in the Swiss bank. They didn't care to build a bank here. No, they built their bank abroad. If those billions of dollars were in our banks, it will have some. And you know, when you eat food in your body, you're strong. You're not weak. If you're hungry, you'll be a weak man or a weak person. But when you eat this morning and your stomach full, you're strong for that day. So if they had that economic power, money, our money that they took, if they had it here, this country would have been a viable African economic state. Because that money, it would touch somebody, the bankers, their nephews, their sisters, their brothers. The money was going to touch us. But no, they had it way in Swiss banks. And we didn't have anything here. I had 10 shares in the Liberian Bank for investment and development. They got yet to give me loan. But they do give loans who got Americo-Liberian names. And I am one of the visually outgoing, openly known citizens in this place. I can't get loan from LBDI, even though I'm a shareholder. They give loan to other people, talking about the narrowness of the past system, the greed, bordering around wickedness and hatred. We were not responsible for them being sold as slaves. No, I was not here. My father wasn't here. And the slaves, they were not sold only from this coast. They were sold from Nigeria. They were sold from all along the coast of West Africa. Some came from East Africa. Some came from North Africa. So they decided to bring them here. Then why they want to pay their debt on us? I have a problem with that. We were not responsible for the slavery. We suffered it. But now the free men that came, they wanted to pay us back for their slavery. We're not responsible. We were subjected to it. We were exploited. So we were not the wrongdoers. The wrongdoers are your masters beyond the sea that brought you here. So you're supposed to welcome us and make us to accept the new life and be like you. Then you won't have problem. You will not be insecure. But because of the way you live, they wanted to live as Americans, as white people, whereas we were already living as Africans. You live according to your climate. and according to your society. Here, we did not endeavor. The Africans naturally live here on this continent. We didn't worry about new things. We did what our foreparents did from time to time. Yeah, you can call it undevelopment. You can call it lack of progress. No, but we Africans perpetuate our long beginning. We don't do new things. That's why we don't have scientists. That's why we don't explore the skies. We don't go beyond the sea. We fish right around here. We don't go beyond our territorial water. We don't even exhaust it because it's 200 miles. We don't go that far. We just fish around here. Because we are Africans. Because you have a different culture than we had, didn't mean we're not the same countrymen. Especially when you set up a government and we were subdued and were willing to work with you. Then there was no need for you to. You should welcome us and try to embrace us and make us to be like you, but not to discriminate against us. That when I have to send you to school, then you got to be chastened. You must be chastened before I can help you. They were not right. They were not right. And me, I knew we're not going to stay like that. When I was a little boy in our home, I was small in size because my mother had problems. She almost lost me during her pregnancy. So I didn't grow up tall. All my brothers are tall, big people. But my grandfather is a tall black man on my mother's side. My grandfather on my father's side, they say he was also a hero. Remember I told you he killed the hero of the Glara people in our last war. But I'm tiny because my mama had problems when she was having me. So she called me her trouble child, but she loved me the best. Why? Because when mama called and you don't answer, she got problem with that. And mama used to always say, y'all people suffering behind, what y'all will do for me? And for true, by the time I got out of school, mama died. Only my father was able to enjoy. I made him prison warrant. He came to me at Justice Department, and my son, I want to work where I want to be lieutenant. I said, Papa, you can't go in the army and be lieutenant. You first thing is, I said, there's no job here. First, you got to know both Papa before you work in their office. And you wrote me the letter. I told him that I know you be my son, N-O, instead of K-N-O-W. So you can't work in any government office. So I said, okay, I will send you to the prison in Swedru and make you a warner there. That is the job I gave my father. He was working there as a warner. Okay. With all this background, my people, we felt out that all the disease in all of this thing was the political system was not good. It was wrong. It was wrong. Y'all have problem with the microphone, eh? Yeah. Okay. No, it might be closer. What about this one? It's not working? Oh, I'm going to go closer. Okay, y'all got to have microphone that will be more sensitive. I thought that the True Whig Party, as I say, our Americo-Liberian hegemony or their society should have been a little more liberal society. Just how the people in America, the American Colonization Society members, they were liberal. They didn't want the black people to be in their society, so they decided to send them to Africa. So they came as a beacon of hope and progress. But then our brothers and sisters that came, they didn't see it that way. They thought that they have come as masters. And they didn't go, and they tried to let you know every day. And one thing I love about them, if an Americo-Liberian visit the office of another, as soon as he hears say Peter John, oh, the man will come out. He will come outside to meet his friend. And that's the thing that you indigenous people do. When I go in there, people will leave me sitting and go have meeting. That's not what they do. They're very receptive. But you have to be one of their members. And if you want to be accepted, you have to be like them. Carry their name. Wear shoes and speak good English. Otherwise, you're countrymen. And when you are countrymen, you got no place here. This is not a country people place. This is the Americo-Liberian society. I have problem with that. I think it should have been changed. And it should be changed during my time. So, the march was legal. Citizens have a right to stage a legal process or have a legal dissent with the judgment of government. They do that everywhere. Even in America when I was there, during the Martin Luther King protest days, people march. Yeah, they put them in jail, but they go to court and release them. They are not criminals. They just violate what you call public safety laws. When you violate public safety law, the penalty is not death, be shot by soldiers and wounded by them without medical treatment. Oh, no, I just violated public safety law. My penalty is supposed to be light fine and go by my business and never to do it again. No, the True Whig Party took a peaceful march. I call it a peaceful march. You impose the price of rice. We had renegotiation. We didn't just jump out and go make march. We were responsible people with women and children. I say women, eh? No, I mean they have women, not me now. Not that I have plenty of women. I mean, I don't know about that, but you know, I mean, all of us were married people. We're responsible, educated boys, men and women. And we didn't want to go and just violate the law. And they had an experienced lawyer who had already been working in the Justice Department, in the system. One of the lawyers who was able to tell the president, say, you got to pay taxes. That's why your president can pay taxes now. I said, I'm going to pay taxes. The law was there, but they didn't go by it. That who know you system. Because you president, you beam and say, oh, I will not collect tax from you. And you get the highest salary, then you say you may not pay taxes. That was not cool. That was not constitutional. But the True Whig Party did not do that. They didn't have to shoot the boys for demonstrating. No, let them, get them police protection. Let them march. When they get hungry, they will leave the streets. Just make sure they don't destroy and damage public property and individual and put other individuals at risk. As long as they march through the street peacefully and airing their differences, government shouldn't have problem. No, they went on a tangent of shooting. And the thing about it in this place is that the few Americo-Liberians will take native men to suppress native men. The police that shot our boys and wounded us and put us in jail, those who kept keys, lock and keys and whipped us, they were native people. They were the Americo-Liberian people. For self-interest, you will go against your own brother. That's what got us here today. Thank you. We could have had a better treatment in prison. Nobody was supposed to be killed if our native policemen did not take the rap on us and shoot us. I didn't see any Americo-Liberian men as a police in the street. It was the Vibe boys and the Ketebo boys and the Bassa boys, the Gola boys and the Loman boys. They were the police. They shot their own people. They shot us. Then we blame it on the few just because they were at the top. We should stop that. We should all be committed to act civilly. When you want to do something, think to yourself, is it fair, humanly? We all go to church every Sunday here. Is it religiously correct? Would it be nice in the sight of God before you do it? Don't do it for self-interest. And that's what they did to us. They murdered their fellow citizens. But the problem I have with the system was, when it happened, they should have conducted an investigation in the police force. They should set up a committee to investigate. Who fired the first shot? Because I know William Arotoba did not tell them to come shoot us. I know he didn't do it. I know William Arotoba well. He was caught between a system. He was the most progressive president the country ever had, because I saw him. The man who took my hand and put it in Upper White hand, my superintendent at Grand Judea County, and said, there's some good in the man. Toba knew that there was some good in our movement. And I know you could not have told the police, y'all go and shoot. But our own people, Joe Myers, he was the police director, our own boys. Joe Myers is a man from Zwedru, Grand Judea County. They shot our boys and made and brought the confusion. So it's not just the Americo-Liberians. It is both the Americo-Liberian and the so-called native people. And the native people, I don't know, because they eat plenty pepper, they don't have a sensitive, resolute, rational way of responding to things. Everything that force. You can't advise your children, you must beat them. Once your man tells you, Papa, that you did so, he's ready to beat you. That's how my father used to do. He will now one day advise you and say, well, okay, you don't do that when your man tell you, you must try to do this. Yeah, don't do it. No, Papa will not do it. Soon Mama say, look, that man acted rude today. In fact, he said he insulted our visitor here and he's going around fighting other children. You are ready? He's ready for punishment. And I know all of you know what I'm talking is true. They ain't got mercy. They ain't got reconsideration. They just take action. And when you put them in the police force and in the army, they will just take action because they got the power. That's what brought us here today. I wish the police can come talk here too, and not just leave it with the government and myself, because they were the one who fired the first shot. Our intention was good. The price is high. You say we may not reduce it, the government cannot reduce it. Then since government cannot reduce it, we will make our protest public. That's all we did. But they did not take the penalty of death. It didn't worth it. That's what they did. And when they did that, then we became more determined. They want to crush us. And Chea Cheapoo, Baka Matthew, Oscar Quia, these are boys that you can't crush. You know these boys came from difficulties. Baka's father did not take care of him, and he's proud of telling us that. Matthew did not take care of Baka's. Baka's grandmother took care of him from small, because Matthew said that was not his child, Mr. Matthew. So Baka and Matthew also know the agony of being born in that kind of situation. I wish that this hearing will make Liberian people know that all of us were not wrong. We were just victims of our system. The Americo-Liberians, the country people, the police, those of us who rioted in the street, we just victims of a bad system. And I think the reason I agreed to come here, because even though they misspelled my name 2 times, TRC, that's supposed to write, what you call it, history. Why y'all call that kind of history? Y'all come in right. Contemporary history. You are contemporary man, contemporary commission. You will spell Cheapoo name wrong. Go to any newspaper, they'll tell you my name. Go to any press. Ask anybody in the country. Anybody you see go to Sunday with suit on, ask him to spell Cheapoo. My name always in the newspaper. When it is few days, I don't talk. And President Ellie even have problem with that. Say, why are you not talking? I say, well, ma, I ain't got nothing to talk. And you're doing the thing now. And we got multi-party system. So even though the party went and put all kind of people in the government, all kind of people in the legislature, but I'm an old man now. This is not time to make youthful protests. I'm supposed to be sober, considerate, and try to study problem and find peaceful solutions. This is what I'm doing. That's why you don't hear me talking. All right. We decided to form a party. Then they went to meeting. After the riot, they killed us. No investigation. They didn't set up a panel of investigation to find the root causes and who shot the first gun, because police were not authorized to shoot peaceful citizens who didn't carry guns but merely marching in our streets. They didn't do that. So we went to, I advised, after that riot, we went to our Central Committee meeting, and I told the Central Committee meeting of PILE, that right now we are just a group of renegades. We're not organized. PILE is not a registered organization. PILE will not go anywhere and sue. Because in order for you to sue and be sued, you must be a legal person if you are an organization. So what we need to do is to form a party. Then we will be credible. Then we will be like the True Whig Party. Then we will have a member, we will have leadership. And when the government wants something, the government will know who to talk to. But one day they come back, oh, Matthew not here, Oscar Quia here. Oscar Quia not here, then somebody else is here. And we were just there. We were just a secular group, not organized. So I told them, we need to have a party. So they said, all right. But who will form the party? I said, well, you see, I'm a lawyer. And then Matthew asked me, who will form the party? I said, but I'm a lawyer. You see, I'm a lawyer for the system. So I will form the party. So we went ahead, drafted. I didn't know how to form party here. All the party where they forming now, the thing what I did, that was the copying. Now just looking at them. There was no law, no system on how to form a party. Because you remember the time they formed the True Whig Party, that document is lost. So what I did was, in order to become a legal person in law school, you had to be an incorporated organization. So I decided first the party need to be incorporated. So I wrote a charter of incorporation. The election law required that you have 300 members, registered voters. Then you can go. It didn't tell you must get it from this county, that county. No, because the reason why they didn't specify the county is if you got 1 million people in Monrovia, and the rest of the country only 50,000, and you go and contest, and the 1 million people in Monrovia vote for you, and you win, because they say the majority. So really, I got to have members in San Quile, or in Zwedru, or in that new town called Fishtown. I don't need people there. I just dwell on the center of population. So we went and wrote the charter. We took it to the probate court. What is the name? Yes, it was the probate court. We registered it, took it to Foreign Affairs, and recorded it. That was the party. Now, the problem we had is going through the probate court to register for the government to allow us to register a party. We had terrible time. We got one yellow Americo-Liberian. He didn't look like African. He white man. He had green eyes. When I went to America, I said, oh, that man that was in Monrovia, I saw the white people, real white people from Sweden and other places. They got some kind of eyes. It looked like, I don't know, cat eye. So that man, he called himself Sawyer. He had cat eyes. He was a white man, straight hair. He went to court to file a petition stopping us not to form a party. And we had terrible time. I know he didn't do it alone. The True Whig Party, contrary to the law then prevailing, to the election laws of Liberia, under which the government at the time was elected, they stopped us from forming a party. And so we had a long, tedious, we had to march on the Supreme Court. We told them they will shoot us when we start marching from our office. So go there one by one. By the time the court is ready to be seated, the judge is ready to mount the podium, the place is packed. The whole of the big office where they got the Supreme Court, the whole yard will be packed. Our boys will come from New Crew Town. They will come from Carisburg, Kakata, all around here, and they will all be there. Then the judge look at it, we answer the caveat that they filed, telling us that we are useful, irresponsible, we state riots and make march, challenge government, all kind of that. One story putting all a paper. I used to have that paper, but you kind of war. I don't know where I left it. Well, those were not cogent reasons for you not to form a party. Citizens have a right to have peaceful. They didn't take us to court. They should have had an investigation. I told you to turn up a panel to find out what was the cause for this riot, for people to get killed in the street. If the decision of that panel came and say that we were responsible. They can say they are lawless people. The decision of this group say, of this government organization, government finding that they were involved in crime. Look what they did, look what they did, causing the death of innocent citizens that they ordered to get in the street. They didn't do it, nobody invested. That's what they do in Liberia. When something happened, we just talk our talk, then we just leave it. They're not organized, it's not historical, it's not documented. Nobody know what happened. You pretty soon when I'm gone, you are gone, it's forgotten. But it will be a system that is embedded in our children, and it will happen again. And that's what occurred here. So they stopped us from organizing. And we didn't think it was correct. So we continue. We won the case. And they later register us. You know why we register? That is same William R. Top. I told you the man progressive. As a lawyer, the judge told me, I'm not calling him, the man, that judge is still at the, now she associate justice there. And so we're looking for Chief Justice, I think she will be a good person. Because that other Chief Justice was there. He won't do the old American thing. And that old American, they play change, you don't know that? All of Americo-Liberian children. We got Americo-Liberian children. And so we are, really, if you want to say we're the first class, we're a member of the Americo-Liberian Society. We are lawyers, we are trained people. We've been to America too, and not just a settler. So they're gonna come here and, hey, where are you, this and that. That's zero. You don't even know. Now you're not civilized. You're uncouth. You're not supposed to behave like that. Somebody who Chief Justice is supposed to be calm, collected, respectful, law-abiding, not a drunkard. Now, so we're looking for a new Chief Justice. That our lawyer who made us party, who in there that the president might identify, even though it will be a woman president, a woman Chief Justice, yeah, if that why it called for Liberia to go forward, then so be it. So she went to see President Torbo. She confided in me. She wanted us to form the party. She's a vile woman, you know, and she didn't have problem with it, but she was in the system. So she told me, okay, Councillor, what you need to do, you all go home. I want to talk to the president. Yesterday I went there, I was not able to see the president. But y'all give me 3 days. I will try to see the president. Then when I come back, I will let y'all know. I said, all right. So I went outside. I said, I will cry. You know, Progressive People's Party, PAL, will never forward, backward, never, and all of that. So we told the children to go home. And we all went home. About 3 days thereafter, in fact, in 2 days, she was able to see me. And she told me, yeah, I saw the president, and the president said, we must go ahead and register the party. That the Torbo man, you see that bad man, that's what he did. He was progressive, but the True Whig Party hegemony was against him to change. So he agreed for us to start having parties, Torbo. Because the judge told me that she had to see the president, and she informed me that she had seen the president, and the president said that she could go ahead and register us as a party. Otherwise, we would never have been registered. So Torbo decided, since this is the case, then we'll go ahead and let other people form parties. So they gave us license. But I understand from the grassroots that the True Whig Party decided that after we are organized, then they will persecute and persecute our leadership. Prosecute means I take you to court and deal with you according to law. Persecute means violently, crush you, step on you, give you no right, bring extinction, eradication, removal, total from against you. You persecute me. That's what they decided to do. So after we organized, then we said, okay, well, as a new organization, we wanted to be heard. You go organize, then okay, because we were agitating, it was an activity for us. When we go, we used to have some girls. I don't know where my PPP girls, the power girls, I don't see them this time. I know they all married and got children. They will cook. You know, a lot of boys come from home, you don't eat in the morning. You go to PPP office, we will cook. cook, excuse me to say, cook horrible food. Everybody will eat. So when we go to a meeting, they are there. We just finish eating. People pay $1, this and that. We used to sell our revolution paper. They take that money. So sometimes when we don't have, we eat the money, we cook and eat. So time to print the paper, no paper. Then we send one of our mobilizers called Kankala, D. Kankala. D. Kankala, I don't know how he managed, but he's supposed to be some kind of person here in this system. I don't hear him. I saw him yesterday. D. Kankala will go and find the papers. I don't know how. But it's done legally because nobody ever came to us and say, D. Kankala did this, or my paper lost. No, he will get the paper for us. And even though we sold the paper, our newspaper yesterday, and we took the money, we cooked this money, now we want to print the paper again. You know, we don't have money, so Kankala will bring paper for us. He was our front man. He used to go and get things done. We wanted to exert ourselves now that we are an organized party. And we wanted Liberian people and the government to know that when you have a party, two parties in existence, and the government party then become the party, leading party, but the other party, sua sponte, as a matter of law, become the opposition party. And opposition party is supposed to be accusative, active, provocative, bring new changes, advocate them, so that tomorrow when you ask for the election, they will say, yeah, those people who are over there who talking, you're calling inside the house. The people will say that because they want the changes. If your changes are correct. So we said that we needed to have a by-election. What we told President Torbo when he invited our chairman that he wanted to put our people in the government afterwards. We said, no, we don't want, if you go in True Whig Party government, then you just member, then you will not do anything. So we don't want to be member. Me, I was against it. Baker said, well, why don't we, you know, we can get in there and work through the system. I said, oh, but then you work, what kind of system? You will not be able to work through that system there. And we decided to form a party. Common protest we want to do in the street that the people kill people. That you understand? Then they will be killing us individually. Every time, all of you that are in those systems, they will just kill you. When we go low, we finish. So we're not going to join them. So what we decided after that meeting was we want another election now, since we got a second party. So we called it for the resignation of the president and to have a by-election. And True Whig Party had a problem with that. This was legal for a political party to call for election. When you find out that the sitting government is undemocratic and is not following the law, and therefore you want to curtail the term of office and have election. Tobo had already been in office 12 years. So really he was not a hungry president who wanted to be there forever. You know, and that's why most of the changes he accepted them. The True Whig Party leadership, they were not disposed to that. They were not disposed. They didn't want to give anybody a chance. So they arrested us. And for me, Lieutenant Howard always came to my cell door in the post stacket. Your pa Chesson say, if anybody got free here, they're not you. And that lieutenant always come to the prison and tell me that. They put I alone in one room. Oscar Kuya was lucky you were in there with all the boys. So when they, you know, solitary confinement, 24 hours, you don't come out. We got caught there. When the place is full, every Saturday you clean your room and empty your cup. From Saturday to Saturday, when you get outside your cell, prison cell, you will see people running from all the doors, going towards the bathroom. And they will call 9 o'clock in the morning and take your food, put it in one flat tin plate, put it before your door, as many people as in the cell. And the flies from the poop, from the toilet, those sitting on any kind of thing, mosquitoes, they will sit on your rice until 3 o'clock. I Like a True Whig Party, they say we must form party, we finish form party, now they're dealing with us. They should give us a place. After we form party, we just like them. We become organized body, a political institution. They should have treated us as brothers and welcome us. They would have controlled us better than to brutalize us. They put us in jail there. I put in my paper, you will read it. I almost died from starvation. Me, I stay with people who got money. So I used to eat. We eat breakfast, we eat lunch, we eat dinner. And my bedroom to Chesapeake Place was closer to the kitchen. In the night when I wake up 3 o'clock in the morning, I go in the kitchen and eat cookies and drink milk. So me, I ain't ever hunger. So they told me and put me inside there. No food. Eat dry rice. From 3 o'clock in, I would put your dry food, and I was living in hygiene. I went to a boarding school that was taken care of by the government, international community. We were trained to be civilized. And they took me and put me in jail there. I was in my own confinement. Every morning they tell me how I'm going to die. And I was uncivilized. And I didn't take it lightly. And I didn't like it even today. So then 3 o'clock, first thing in the morning, 6 o'clock, they would take us out and beat us. Oh, poor Baka Matthew. He used to cry. At one time when they were beating Baka, I told them, don't get a man 25, then you get in 12. Add it to my own and give it to me. Me, my pa, native man, I used to fall from palm trees, so my body is hard. So you can beat me. He said, no. The lieutenant said so. I will beat everybody 25. And you know what they used to beat us with? They took the tire of your car, they cut it and make a rope with it. This is what they used to lash us every morning. When we come outside 3 o'clock after we eat a dry rest, then they give us time 4 o'clock to go around the prison. Go around the prison. At 6 o'clock, you take your beating before you go to your cell. Yes. This was supposed to be a civilized Christian government, and they had these churches all year. Every Sunday they come pray. That's why I was. But the problem I have, Toba was not there. Those who were the preachers and the leaders of the society, they were not the ones in the prison. They were your brothers. Country boys who were in the army. They didn't have to take that order. They didn't have to beat us. I don't remember any of them being questioned whether you beat the prisoners today. And after they were in the habit of beating us, they got tired. So that someday they don't beat them. Maybe they will beat us in the afternoon, or they will beat us tomorrow morning. So nobody was going to question them. But they carried that command out recklessly. That old African way of inflicting sorrow on your fellow man. Wish him to die. Stop him from having children. You know, old African way. Undemocratic. It doesn't make the society to develop. That's why I was in the soldiers. And I challenge you all, if that is in you, abandon it. We are in a new age. Strive for societal progress. Fight for changes and be moderate. That is the way out now. No, the soldiers didn't do it. They brutalized us. Our own people beat us. We want to change so that your children can take. Look at the party they got now. If I didn't put my bag there, Matthew did not come and say, let's organize party. Y'all won't have multi-party system that you're boasting about. Every Liberian want to get his own party. You have the freedom. But you know how you got it? We risk our life for it. And so it's not free. It's very expensive. While we were in jail, we suffered long. I suffered hunger. I was weak. I had malaria. I told you I was living with civil life. I was living in Attorney General Liberia. I didn't have problem about things. And my mama, who was there, who was the wife, she was Mama Manchester, was a cool woman. Y'all eat. Soon she come, y'all eat. Y'all eat. No, Joe, you need to go to hospital. Because you probably left malaria business. She would send me to hospital. So I was coming from a good family, I was all right. And they exposed me to this thing. And I almost died. The beating alone, I still got the stripes on my butt, excuse me, on my shoulders. Only now it stopped. But every time, the bruise in my body will turn to some kind of sore for many, many years after the prison. When I was standing at Justice Minister, I had sores on my back. Your minister had a lot of sores on my back from the beating. My body is so tender. I don't know, I got my mother's skin or something. You beat me, it will turn to sore. The bruise will become a sore. So I got the mark all on my back and on my rump. It didn't have to do that. So we were in jail. They've charged me, my father Chesson charged me with sedition, which is punishable by imprisonment. But when we got in the jail, about a few weeks after we got in the jail, they came and demanded the rate for sedition. They took it for us. I refused to give my rate. They said, oh, okay, you don't, they didn't get it from me. But then that day, when I went for beating, they said, hi. So they didn't play with me. They gave me more than 25 lashes, and I was bleeding. So the next morning, I called him, and I said, come, get you ready. I gave it to him. Then they changed the rate to treason. As you know, treason is punishable, is a capital crime, punishable by death, through firing squad, or by hanging. You handcuff, and you get there, they open the cell, open the door, and they will juke it in your pocket, or whatever you have. Or if you didn't have anything, they will just throw it on the floor where you can sleep. We slept on the bare floor. Y'all got plenty party enjoying. Let me tell you. Slept on the bare floor. The prison cell is ripped with mosquitoes. Unhygienic. And you know, you human beings, if you don't eat every day good food, your body will not be strong to resist sicknesses and the horror on the body. You will not. So you are exposed to mosquito, yellow fever, diseases, then you are in prison, you can't eat. Then they're beating you. We die on the cross for you to have motor party system. Then now I see you when you're going today, I mean, I'm not going to join that party there. And you're not dedicated. True PPP member, power member were dedicated. No, you switch from one party to the other. So you don't even have an upbringing. And that's why you're always losing elections. If you were PPP, and PPP is called to die, then you will die. That is the way to have a system. No, if I know that this party, the men there get money, then that's the place you go. When they're cooking and eating, then you go there. Then another time again, another ID card to the place you eating there. And they tell them, yeah, that's what they do. They're not committed to introduce a change. You have to suffer and you have to be committed. Same thing we do in our lives. You say you marry. You always leaving your woman and going born children in different places. Then you say she must accept them. But she dare not have a boyfriend. Then she's a horror. The change has come, but we got to utilize the change in keeping with the dictates of fair play. Not, I want something for myself. While we were in jail and we received our new charge of treason, we were supposed to be taken to court on that Monday, which in my estimation from my checking, that would have been April 13, 1980. On the 12th of April, somebody, we used to have a lot of well-wishers. While we were in jail, I've been hearing, many people went to soothsayers, went to country doctors. People went outside of Liberia for us, that they should not do anything to us. Even people went to my tribe. There was a witch doctor there. They went there asking him that the children in the jail we don't want the people to do anything to them. Well, since they gave us treason, they announced it on their radio. They didn't hide it, that the people were recharged for treason. And my papa, Chesson, he was the architect of it. He was sitting there. I remember one time I got in confrontation with him when they served me from the Justice Department. He said, I take my time, took my money behind you, and then you have the audacity to go join all kinds of riff-raff and causing all kinds of confusion. But when you get out of it, you will never forget it. That's what my pa told me. And he said, you carry the man. They took, that time I had my hand behind. He was in Justice Department. They put my rate in my pocket, and they chunked me down the step. Those of you who never went to Justice Department, go see there. That step is steep. They chunked me down. Mr. Wilfred Clark, who was the SS commander at that time, they chunked me down the step. And they chunked me. I said, oh, my people, I will die. Oh. That was the beginning of my sorrow. And I landed with my neck. However, they put me in the trunk of the car and took me to prison. So, we had plenty of children with him. I was there in solitary, back of my people were in a solitary confinement. And they used to come to me. You, instead of going to the True Whig Party and showing penitence, and first time I hear that word, you're supposed to show penitence to the party, then you go join these riff-raff. You former senator, you go join these people. But your father said, I'm going to tell you, if anybody get free, it won't be you. They will tell me that. I will not say anything. I say, okay. I didn't have anybody here. My cousin Chea, he lived with President. He was President Tokman's son. He got his property on Link Street here. He's a bluff boy. He didn't even care. So he stopped sending me food. So we began to eat food in the prison. Some of the boys that were there, they were lucky. Their people used to send food there. But those of us who didn't have anybody, nobody gave us food. And the suffering was too much. We were like slaves. When you are charged with crime, that doesn't render your condition as a citizen to be a slave. They kept us and treated us like slaves. All because we wanted another party different from the True Whig Party. And that was the law required. We still have election laws that provide for multi-party system. And all we wanted to do, after they educated us and show us the new society, we wanted to be participants. We wanted to be equals. We wanted to take part in the new system from our villages, from our tribes. We didn't really want to cause trouble. But they treated us as criminals. We were not convicted, but they had relegated us to death. On the morning of April 12, 1980, somebody shouted outside the post stockade. And they called, Cheapoo, Jaio, Abofano player, Oduba Tobo Ziao, I'm free guy. It says, Cheapoo, Kuya, you may not be afraid. They finish killing Tobo. You will be free tomorrow. There was around about, I would say between 4 and 5 in the morning. But for some reason, and this is what I usually do, if I rested today, during the weekend, and I sleep, then tonight, or I slept all during the day yesterday, so now I get weak, and the week now I took it from the prison. So when I get weak, then me I go home, I just sleep, forget everything, money, this thing, me I tell my mom, me I tired, I just go sleep. When I sleep all through the day, then I sleep in the night again, around about 2 o'clock, I will get up, I won't sleep again until day. So I was up that morning, I heard that cry, speaking Kran, Sapo language. Then Kuya came to his cell door. Cheapoo, Councillor. I said, why you hollering my name like that? Why you hollering my name like that? I can hear crying too. Why you calling me? Say, oh, you heard it. I said, I heard it, man. You don't need to come holler my name in the prison like that. Yeah, because I was scared. They killed a man, the people come, then he calling my name. They say, yeah, I'm one of the people there. You know. So anyway, we always laugh about it. And so we stayed there. That morning, then they started shooting. I said, what? Then I call him. I always say him when I call me. Then I say, Quia. He said, oh, man, what you say? in essence, he is saying, hey, he said, when I call your name, you call him my name. I said, but I hear shooting. He said, yeah, Che, I hear shooting too. Me, I was afraid that the soldiers, under the circumstances, they would walk in the plane and just shoot us down. So I was very much afraid. Until 6 o'clock that morning, when they brought the pickup. They free everybody except me. Queer, Backup Matthew, all those boys. They got in the truck and they were taken to the brigade. While they were on their way, a certain fellow in the army, I don't see him these days, he came looking, I guess he came to see somebody leave, if we left anything that's what he can take, because today I don't see my $6 where I had on my mat. Yeah, I didn't see the base spread that my girlfriend then, Musu, sent to me. I never seen it. I went in the barrel there asking for it, they said they didn't see it. But that fellow came there, he was armed. And he said, well, Mr. Cheapoo, oh, Che, you didn't free you? Yeah, I said, okay. So he took his gun butt and busted the lock and said, go. So I ran behind the truck. Yo, wait, one of the presidents coming, yo, wait. I jumped in the back of this truck. When we got to the street there in the barrel by that church, they said, okay, Backup Matthew, Oscar Quia, Chea Cheapoo, George Bully, y'all go to the brigade. So they took us. I said, why? I asked Quia, I didn't even remember. I said, my people, where is this again? Quia said, I don't know, Cheapoo. I don't know. I said, people say we're free again. And that man had a last name, said we'll be free. Then he said, we'll go brigade to those soldiers. I said, okay. I didn't trust the soldiers. And those are the same people who are beating us. They didn't have any mercy to their own people with us. Then they said, we'll go to their main office to be there. So I had a problem. I was afraid. Anyway, we had to go there. When we got there, we were there for a while. Then they sent for us to the mansion. When we used to demonstrate, have meetings, talk about change in Liberia, sometimes some of our friends used to say, the only way change will come here in this country unless there's a bloodshed. Some people used to say that. So when I walked in the front of the mansion that morning, I saw blood on the front step in the mansion. Human blood. Then I knew what. For true, this is what people were talking. But I was afraid. I saw other people's blood. And so you might imagine, I was worried about my own blood. But it was too late. I was already inside. We were fully inside. So they took us to the veranda, what you call it, some kind of house, behind the mansion. And Doe told us, well, me, I heard the name Doe, I thought a crewman. Because in Kepamas, most of the people, when we were growing up, who were Doe, were all crew people. I didn't know that crewman would be Doe. So when they said Doe, I thought sure that our crewman. But when I go see, I saw the crewman. I can hear crewman very well. My mother is crewman. So he said, I call you because the people said they were going to kill us, and we already finished digging grave for you. One grave for every one of you. They were supposed to take you to court for treason. We say, yeah, we will charge for treason. Okay. They were going to carry you to court, and they were going to find you guilty. And they said, we must dig the grave. We already finished digging the grave. One grave for all of you. So we didn't like that. That's the reason why we took arms to overthrow the government. But now you're the one who know book, so you come to help us to make paper to make the government. I said, all right. He said, all right. So they put us in a Volkswagen Me, I was not happy the way they were carrying us around. I don't trust them. So we got in there. I said, but then, okay, y'all go, then y'all come. He said, my man, get inside. The thing starting again. So the thing will go through. So anyway, we were crowded up, Volkswagen. All of us were in the back there. Me, George Bole is big, Bacchus big, Kriya bigger than me. All of us were crowded in the back. I think Bacchus was sitting in the front. But no, there was a soldier in the front armed. So we all crowded up in the back of the Volkswagen, and they said the leader of the coup called us. They're like taking you to prison cell again. So we got there, got before the mansion. They opened the door, we got down. And I saw this blood before the mansion. Then they took us through the mansion, went to the back door, and Doe delivered his message. So all we did, Wesen was there. First we started with Doe. Later on Wesen came. Later on Podia came. Every colleague came. All of them gathered there. Then shooting began intense. So Doe sent Kwali, because he had, that time they got more Lofa people in the army. So he sent Kwali to go see what was going on. Jerry Batu for the Gio people, he went out there. And so we were left with Podia went for the crew people, and the Grebo and other people there. So we had Doe was there, and Wesen was there. And they dictated to us what they had decided when they had the overthrow. When we were in jail, the only message I used to get is that from a soldier was that if anybody got free in that prison, I wouldn't be the one. And it used to be my stepfather always telling my man who reared me. I know your civil people, you call it stepfather, or what kind of father? Stepfather is your mother's husband. And so, what the man who reared you, how do you call foster father? My foster father used to send that message to me that if I get free, people get free from the prison from this incident, I won't be the one. So I didn't have any contact with soldier. I don't remember the PPP having any contact with soldier. People gave us money when we were doing our politics. Me, I know Chief Justice Pierre used to give us money. I also know one of the persons in the True Whig Party used to give us money. They sent it to us. Because why? We used to go around looking for donation when we were doing that. And they gave us money. So really, there was not a personal enmity between us as a group and the older people. There were some people in the True Whig Party hegemony, in the government, high up in government, who saw that maybe it was all right for us to do what we're doing. Yeah, there were tragedy here and there. They suffered bad name because of the way they treated us as a government. But there were people in that, even Tobo himself. After the Res Riot, Tobo called a meeting. He offered us to join the government after we organized. He had good intention. But he was with a system. And he had to do as the system already planned. That's why we were sent to jail. We set off taking orders. Jai Kuya, I don't know where he learned typing from. He could type. Baka Matthew was a spokesman for us, then he was the chairman. Me, I was a lawyer in organizing the TRC government. George Bole didn't have much to say, he was just there. So, don't say, well, he put my name down. First, what thing would be the name of the government? Is it New Liberian government? Baka said, no, let's call it the People Redemption Council. He said, write it down. Queer typing. Then he said, okay, so and I, Samuel K. Doe, I will be the president. Baka said, no, a revolutionary person, leader cannot be president. So you are chairman of the council. He said, all right, put it down. Chairman of the council and head of state. He said, put it down. Queer topic. That the people who are inside now, so listen. So then he said, all right. So now, let's go to the cabinet ministers. He said, no. Then a suggestion came, I don't know specifically who it came from. But he said, no, the first thing you need to do, since there's a military government, you need to quickly reorganize the military barracks and detachment all throughout the country. Put the people there that you know to take over, because anything can happen. So they say, okay. Then those say, he started appointing people in all the barracks around the country. This person that is there is hereby removed. We were doing it on the radio. We organized the government on the radio. ELBC. And ELBC said they didn't get nothing. They were there because they were the ones who were talking. So they changed the barracks, the leadership of the barracks, and put their own people in those barracks that they knew that they were the leaders. Then they went ahead and appointed leadership of the army, and he was head of state, commander-in-chief, and chairman of the People Redemption Council. They finished, then he appointed a cabinet minister. Bole was to be Minister of Foreign Affairs. Bakal Mafi was supposed to be working with him as a chairman, as a Minister of State for Presidential Affairs. Oscar was Minister of the Interior. Then lastly, those say, Cheapoo, and you are Minister of Justice. Jalada. I said, oh. What can I tell you? Yeah, our Minister of Justice of PAL, our Minister of Justice and Attorney General. So now they gave me Minister of Justice and Attorney General job. I said, all right, thank you, sir. To tell you how the soldier treated us from the very get, yeah, they saved our life, they made coup. We didn't go to court, they free us. But dealing with them, let me tell you how self-interest became a problem with the PRC government. They sent to the bank, they said no money, and so suggestion came out. I think it was me. I said, but call the bank, the national bank, they got plenty of money there, chief. And so he said, yeah, so they called this man. I don't know, it was Clark. Somebody was bank government at the time. Huh? Reed, eh? Green, the boy from Sino. So Green, they sent for Green on the radio to come there. Green came running. They say, okay, go to the central bank, y'all get money there. He said, yes, sir. How much? $5 million. He said, okay, go bring the money. Go bring some money. They brought the money. I think they brought out there $450,000 US. You know how much they gave Matthew? That time that we had rope, they cut our hairs. Just like rope. That's why they do thieves. When they catch rope, they cut your hair in prison, in central prison. They did it to us even though we were political prisoners. Professional people, economists, lawyers, and they just treated us like criminals. So they had the rule. So those say, all right, some we finish organizing the government, y'all go home. And but I said, well, but we ain't got nothing, we want to go call our head. Those gave us $400. Huh? $200 out of the poor guy, we showed the poor $5 million. And they start eating it. Then they gave us only $200. We sold on our back, we needed to go take injection, all I wanted. We are not eating. Me, I don't know why I was staying again because the room where I was renting, I don't know, I think the poor put me out because they didn't want trouble. You see? So the man gave only $200. We divided, I don't know, 50-50 or something. But before we went to down the PHP way there, and I pay your call PHP, down there, where your shop was. Jaratown Road. We went down there and we were able to get somebody to call our hair. And so I took my $50. I had just started my house. I moved in my house without doors, with what it in tiles. And I slept in there. And every time I walk, I used to come to the progressive movement. The wind blew through the house, and I begin to get cough in my throat because of the dust. So the whole while I was in prison, I said, well, when I leave from here, if I ever leave, because in prison I can't leave from here, but if I go I will rebuild my house, put doors there. When I was sleeping in a cell all by myself, I said I will put doors there. I will get my friend Jemiah to give me some tile. The man who I went to jail for, who they say I put somebody out because of him, they were having a tile factory. The building is still there in Jamaica Roadway there. I said I will ask him to give me tile so I can fix my house. I put it in my house. So I went home. My brother then, Yeah, brown here. They send a man, Sister Ada send a man, they say your brother in jail. But right now, so you go Monrovia to be there. So Brown came. Brown was there in my house. When I got there, oh, Brown, where my watch? He couldn't account for my watch. I had a problem with that. Other people were living in my house, they did all kinds of things there. Anyway, the next morning, as Minister of Justice, I went to work. The question was, then they were arresting people. Arrested other person. Go to this house. When they meet girl, fine girl, you know your Congo girl, how they can be fine. They're all bright, nice, tall. They're well fed, well taken care. They speak nice English, their voice soft and nice and low, you know. Yeah, the Congo children, they were very nice. And so when the soldier get there, tell her how they treated us in jail. In the presence of the man, they will rape the woman, the wife, the mother, and rape the daughters right before the man. If you thought they would kill you, that's what they were doing. And every day making complaint. That kind of thing was too rough. And it was too dangerous. So what to do? So we had a security meeting. I was in charge of all the security. Call NSA, police director, and all the other people I called at meeting. And to have control over the police, I took the position of Minister of Justice. Minister of Justice is Lieutenant General of the Liberian Police Force. That's why this time I hear Minister of Justice, I will tell the police. No! Command the police! You don't tell them. You, the Lieutenant General of the Liberian, that's a high position in the police force. Lieutenant General, Commander-in-Chief of the police force. Police force is the first offensive front of the government. Cohesive front, not perceptible. Cohesive front of the government. So Justice Minister will be here, then your guy, armed robber. And they say, well, armed robber in my town? You will not make it. You will not make it. We restore law and order in this country that you can drive here and go. After the soldier thought that they were in power and they were doing all kinds of things. So we grabbed seven people and put them on the firing squad. We had a meeting. Our chairman of Joint Security right there in the department there on what is it, that Lane Street, eh? All right. Is that Lane Street down there? Or you all know the place where the Department of Defense is? That Lane Street. Department of Defense is still there. We went there, and that Benson Street? Yeah, okay, yeah, thank you. Benson Street. We had a security. We say, well, soldiers who do things like that will go by the military code. You shoot and kill without command, the penalty is death. We're not going to have that here. So we passed the law. They were still raping people, breaking houses, taking their things, and we couldn't have. So we put 7 people on the firing squad right there at post stacking. They cut off. If I had anything to do, you might just give me 1 week. I dare them. That first day I was spent in the Ministry of Justice, if I ever had a chance, there would not be armed robber here. Because the first person I catch as armed robber, I will make an example of him. You have to enforce the law in order to maintain law. There's nothing nice about it. Crime is punishable by whatever measure the law imposes. So we stop the looting and the killing. And in 6 months, you could take your car and go as far as to Lofa. Because the soldiers were everywhere. They would leave their camp. They start looting, raping women, doing all kinds of things, killing people. When we did that here in Monrovia, it quieted the place and there was law and order. All right. Coming to the execution and what I did as Minister of Justice. What I did as Minister of Justice was to restore law and order. Because when the soldiers took over, they thought that they were in command and therefore soldiers can do anything. No. We have a civil government. We have a constitutional, we have a government. A national government rather. And no lawlessness here. And we got laws. We were born in a family of organized people. We are citizens of the Republic of Liberia and we are a government. We say that we come here for a change, and we say the change that we made was to remove a despotic government, a system that was not embracing the entire citizenry of the country. And we have to make a difference. We're not going to do the same thing they did. People might have justice here, and people might know that there's a change here. They will feel the change in their lives and how they are treated. That was my stance in the Ministry of Justice. I was not a man who sit down, go kill my foster father. Me, I know every time Chesson send message in the jail that he tell him if anybody get free, he will not be the one. Me, I know he was getting in contact with me to make sure I was there. It's not that he really hate me. Because Chesson could have said, okay, the man. And nothing would have happened. Who will ask Chesson? He could have told the people, say, when you go, you get rid of the man. He would just take me somewhere, and that would be finished with. But the way he used to always, Captain Howard always used to come and bring that message, I know. My father Chesson used to ask how I was doing in there. At that time, he used to call me Joe Chesson, because he said I'm going to be Joseph J. Chesson III. So he used to call me Joe. Well, my mom called me, I was Christian on the 8th day of my birth with the Assembly of God Church. They called me Job, J-O-B, because my mom said she had problem having me. So I called Job. So the man would call me Joe. Yes, Pa, come bring this, come do that. So Chesson really didn't have anything. He didn't have, what I say, fish to fry. He didn't hit me. He knew I was in that jail, and he was concerned. That's why he always tell Captain Howard, go tell him if anybody get free, he won't be the one to find out whether I was still there. So he didn't have anything personal against me. And when we were in jail, we never saw Chesson. He never sent any orders. He never said anything to me. The only thing he told me in Justice Department, you got the audacity to go join all these riffraff, and you will not be able to tell the story. He told me that I was always going to be living and telling the story, as I do now, as my father told me. I will be always telling the story. So Chesson, I didn't have any animosity against him. He didn't hate me. My judgment told me, if the man care about you, he won't send it. So I didn't even believe it. Said when the man talking, I said, well, my part there, I don't think anything will happen to me. So I didn't have anything personal against him. And I knew. Talbot took my hand and made me senator. I didn't have any problem. I would never, God knows, I did not connive with anybody to go kill Talbot. I was behind bars in solitary confinement when I heard that Talbot was murdered. I have no dealing. Let God strike me. I'm going to see what I'm looking for. If I ever took part in murdering President Talbot, I never talked to nobody. While I was Minister of Justice, the soldiers, let me tell you how we didn't have any order, any power over the military. We were just like pawns in the water. When we took over our Minister of Justice, but the decision was made by the People Redemption Council. The People Redemption Council were critically selected in that those who participated in the coup at the mansion, those soldiers that were there, that cooperated and provided the arms, those soldiers who knew about the coup and did not leak the secret out, those were the ones that were picked to be in the People Redemption Council. This coup was staged, according to historical knowledge, by only 7 people. One of them died. Isn't that right, Quia? I think that was the case. One died, one had it, or unknown soldiers. They made a decision. God be my helper. I'm standing here. My life is in the hands of the master of all masters. I didn't see any of my members in jail. The soldier didn't have, we didn't emulate the soldiers. In other words, we were not friendly with them because they beat us, and we hate them because they beat us. You know, every morning you beat somebody, and these were Gio people, these were Loma people, these were our own people. They didn't have to beat us the way they did. So me, I didn't have regard for them. I feared them. I didn't trust them. So I didn't see anybody communicating. And the PPP people, the power people, when Bako Matthew appointed me a lawyer, they always consulted me. Even when the riot was going on, when they wanted to have the march, we decided to have a peaceful march as a notice that we didn't like the fact that President Tobo didn't want to bring the price down. And we got information President Tobo was a businessman. He was selling rice. And he was a distributor of rice. He was a supplier and a major distributor of rice. Importer, rather. Importer, major importer and distributor. He was a businessman. Recently, I went to Vanjima and I was able to see the sprawling rubber plantation of Tobo. Houses all everywhere. Only thing, they have no roof, and I don't know why somebody is not taking care of the estate, because the estate was returned to the family. But they abandoned that wealth in the midst of the African jungle there. So Tobo was a businessman, and we didn't see why he could not reduce the price. So my advice was we should have a people march. They consulted me. It was me who advised them to go ahead and have a peaceful march. But it was not a march with knives to destroy things. No. In fact, at first, there were young people. They were in the new system. We wanted to demonstrate. We wanted to let people know we were in the new thing. We could stand up and say no to government and this and that. That was all. We were not violent. We didn't destroy any property. We did not cause any problem. But as other boys in the street corners and girls saw the group of young people marching and going and staging, they joined. They were not even members. People who died were not even registered members of PAL. These were just young people coming. Some people were sitting on the porch. They got killed when the police opened fire. PPP, at the time, we changed the name from PAL, Progressive Alliance of Liberia, to Progressive People's Party. Bako is the one who always given the name. So we became Progressive People Party. Progressive People Party did not connive to bring chaos in the society. We just wanted to have a peaceful march. And I, as their lawyer, my judgment was peaceful protest is permissible under the law. Freedom of assembly is part of our constitution. And if you don't want anything publicly, you want to send notice to government, you can have a free march. I saw that in America. Yes, they will arrest you and put you in jail, but the penalty is not death and the charges are not treason. But because we march in our own streets as taxpayers, as peaceful citizens, they charge us with treason, promised to take us to court, and they already dug our graves, according to Samuel K. Doe. Peace be to his ashes. And let me tell you, the same way where I talk about the brutality of our army. Prince Johnson was with Doe. When they staged the coup, Prince Johnson then were the Guild boys in the army. He would grab Doe to the port there without any penitence. He would go to kill a man. That's how the army was. And that army got to be reformed. The approbation of the army is wrong. They don't even understand what the army is supposed to be for. The army is supposed to be for the protection of citizens, not to wrought brutality on them. That's how our army was. That's how it has been, and that's how it is today. That's why when people are talking about reshuffling, doing this, doing that, and carrying them, pushing them around, me, I like it. Because they got to bear some penalty too. And when time came for the Civil War, the same army, instead of defending us, they were training rebels and looting our properties. The same army that were on salary. We need to reform our military. Not just training how to shoot and defend the country. We got to instill morals, good morals in them. Military people who vow to defend the country, the lives and property of the country, they are supposed to be sane, religious, and very, very considerate individuals. Our army not like that. So we didn't connive with them. Me, I hated the army. Y'all will tell them I hate them. I would never, Cheapoo did not connive with those people. That man who got so on my back, I will go connive with them to go kill somebody. What, do you know those people beating you? You will go tell them they must go kill president, they will kill you. First thing they will go tell the president, say the people in the jail, they say we must do so. We're not able to do it. It was dangerous to attempt to do that. When we were already afraid, being charged with treason, scheduled to be trial, we'll have in fact, Soldiers did not deal with us. They dealt with us as criminals. They beat us, and then they leave us. Now, when one soldier walked in his cell, in post-stacking, everybody turned quiet. Because they would just say, open their cell, put everybody outside, and teach you a lesson. Next time be in the prison and made noise. I saw it. So they were not our friends. We were enemies. They were agents of the power structure. They were agents of our exploiters. So we didn't trust them. So PPP did not connive with the army. In no way. We did not. At least nobody asked me for legal advice. And everything that PPP did, they always asked me. I was their lawyer. From the very day I walked in their midst. They did not connive with any army. I would have been consulted. Because I always tell them that it's not legal. They already think it's not legal. Me, I will not do it. I don't support it. And Bako had a sense of responsibility. He will say, well, send a lawyer say it's not legal, then we will not do it. That's how we were running our party. And it's not legal for Bako to walk without calling the Central Committee meeting, for him to walk in on the radio station and tell us that the name of PPP, for which we got beaten and suffered for, the name now is changed to United People Party, without calling a meeting and having a vote on it. And we said we wanted democracy, freedom of choice, participatory democracy. And we have a party and have a hierarchy there. The chairman will just jump and go on radio and change the party name and change its direction. So we are then went with Bako. They are in the UPP. Me, I still got my Progressive People's Party. I pay my own rent by myself. That is the party for which I have scars on my back. I'm a man of principle. And I don't just follow a leader when I know you're wrong. So I didn't follow them. So you got UPP and you got PPP. PPP is the UPP. Things had to be correctly. So just to let you know that we did not connive, we were strict people. I was a justice minister. I know riff-raff. I was a leader in my own right. I was a lawyer, a married man with children, a responsible man. I was a church lawyer. I was baptized in my church. Today I'm still the lawyer of the Liberia Assembly of God Church. Our church is right down the street here. I'm not some kind of riff-raff floating in the street, don't know where I'm doing. No, I had the opportunity to be taught what to do as a sane and law-abiding person. I would never have connived to go murder people. That's not me. I even had a problem when they came. AB. AB was my friend. If you kill the father, the son is not responsible for the president's action. He's not the president. Unless you kill all the legislators, why go grab the poor man from the embassy and go kill him? I had gone on a security mission in Zwedru. When I came back, I said, oh, last night, everyone called it and some people. I said, but the head of state knows. I said, yeah, but I didn't want to decide it. They had a cliche in the People Redemption Council. Those people who actually went to the mansion and fought to kill Tobo, they had a clique. Just like True Whig Party had a clique. They're the ones who were giving the orders. Now let me tell you what they feared. These people got money, they are known internationally, and they are educated more than us. If we allow them to stay around, they will overthrow us. They will catch us and punish us by death. Just like how they want to do the people who want form party. So let us get rid of them. That was their approbation, that was their decision. Your army that you train, that you finance, that you supported, that you took to beat us and guide us until you're ready to kill us. The army you took to dig, those say he took part in digging our mass grave, in shuffling. That the very man came and overthrew your government. I ain't got no part to do with it. My part I played was to form another party, which I know was my right. The election law says you can form a political party when you get 300 registered voters. When I want to form my party, I have 50,000 voters all over the country. I'm not a murderer. My people know me in my village. Mama know I'm a just man. When we get one piece of meat, Mama asked me to divide it because my brother Johnson, the older one, will always take the meat and eat it. And we'll make complaint to our man. He will say, no, give it to Chea. Then let Chea divide it. I will divide the meat. I have a sense of justice from my birth. The house that I was in, we were plenty. And so we learn how to deal with people. We have feeling for people. I ain't just come here from nowhere. I am not a bastard, excuse me to say that. I come from an organized family, a Christian family. I told you already that I was Christian on the 8th day of my birth, on the altar, and surrendered to Christ. And since that time, I've been a Christian. I just knew Mr. Samson. You didn't have to be a devout Christian to be Samson. So when I was graduating from law school, there were all kinds of names. I was Samson, Joe Samson. Then I came to be Chesson. Then I was just tired with all who am I really? I was tired with all these changes. And I took the Chesson name as a business decision. The man said he will not help me to go BWI and support me unless I take his name. So I would take his name and get support. And I did. And they sent me abroad. That was a business decision. Now that I got the education, I paid the price. I carried the name for that time. Does that mean I have to continue? No. When I was graduating, say, what name you want on your diploma, on your degree? I said, put there, Chea Cheapoo. My grandfather's name is Chea, the man I said fought the war for us. They named me after one of the farmers, great farmer in our family. His name Chea, his name Cheapoo. Chea, no, bobo. If you go in my yard now, you see all the palm trees. Cheapoo under the palm trees. Way back, great-great-great-grandfather, he had a plantation, sugar cane, coconut, palm nut plantations. And he had so many wives and had all kinds of children, many children, mostly daughters. And they marry all throughout the life, throughout the community. And they say, the history say, what they used to do is that when this girl get pregnant or she got problem, she will go to her father and say, Papa, we ain't got food in our house, so I come for rice. Then Chea will take rice, say, y'all give her rice. But when you say you won't care palm nut, you won't care sugar cane, you won't care banana, you will say, no, I got plenty of children. You say you can't hear for rice. So you just give her rice, you may not care. If you care anything from there other than rice that you ask for, then maybe you steal it, you will not get it. My grandfather, great-great-grandfather had principle. That same principle is in me. Either the thing is right or it's not right. If it is not right, you will not get people to do it. I'd rather go hungry. Me, I'd rather be without nothing. I'd rather drive my old pickup. I'd rather walk. I'd rather be called nothing than to bring myself down for wealth or for anything. So I didn't have a place in this society. This society is a society in which people are imbued with the idea of having self-wealth. I aspire to a wealthy nation, not individual with wealth. I aspire to national wealth. If I am able to feed myself, I want my neighbor to be able to feed himself. If I am riding a car, I want my neighbor to ride a car. Things that are justice, are fair and just. That's the thing I do. That's why when I walk in your Supreme Court, I saw people were selling justice. Justice is not something to sell. when Mama tell you say go divide a fish, she meant that everybody should get equal piece of it. Now you taking the greater part of it, attached to the head and the bone, then you still take flesh and put it one side for yourself. Then after you finish dividing it, then you finish eat that little piece, then you alone eat the head with the bone, with everything. No, that's not justice. You divide a fish, so you take only the head, the bone there with flesh on it, you give it to somebody else at his part. That's how I learned to be justiciable. I'm not a murderer. I tell you anything I want to tell you. If I have to curse you, I will curse you. But I will not kill you. I never planned murder. The only thing I did was to see to it that we have another party. I didn't like the discrimination I saw here, where certain people thought they were better than other citizens. Citizens should be equal. All of us have equal rights. That's why we got a document called Constitution. All of our rights are provided for, honored, and protected by that law. There shouldn't be wealthy people and poor people. There shouldn't be a government official and just citizens who follow along. Unless those citizens contribute in picking those people and nominating and crowning them to be their leaders. But you don't impose yourself on others. The True Whig Party government had led for 100 years already before I got here, before I even went to school, before I got to know about justice, not justice, but before I got to know about organized government. They were here, they built no roads, they didn't build highways, and they always used to go to America. They used to go to Europe. They saw the streets that the people built there. They saw the hospital. They saw the transient societies that they saw when they visited. But when they come to Africa, right here in this town, everything was right here in this town. They didn't care to expand their power. Our territory should be bigger than what it is now, because we were the first here on this West Coast to have civilized government. No, they were narrow. They made laws for the few settlers. They provided opportunity for few settlers when they could have built an African empire. Our nation could have extended from here to Nigeria, the Republic of Liberia. We are the first people here. It's just a lazy man going to a land that nobody owns, and you just build a small hut and make a small farm. People know you can grow food there and you can stay there, so they just come and take all the land around you and you don't even protest. The settler came and took all the land. Even my father, when he went to France, 6 months he was there negotiating. Most of our land was given to France. And they say it happened so because there was change of money. So during my lifetime, bribery was still a problem here. Self-interest. Putting self-interest over national priorities. I am not a killer, my people. I will tell you what I will. And people scared of me. I am just a small little man. I am not a bad man. I would never plan to kill anybody. They got my name all over the place. I plan to kill the man who educated me. Oh God, you know that's not true. That is not true. I never planned to kill anybody. I did not plan a coup. I didn't know anybody who planned a coup. I was in jail and been beaten on a coup occurred. I am not a maker. I didn't kill my father. And they got that thing behind me, so now I lay in my bed. I don't know how to get out of this scandal. So I'm happy today for you to call me, to air out my view on this matter. And all I can do is ask God to judge me. If I kill Chesson, if I plot to overthrow the Liberian government, other than just advising people as a lawyer to get another party in keeping with the law, anything that I do for God in a public manner, with all the Christians, each of you have a right to pray. I may not see it. I may not see heaven. They must send me to hell. If I ever plan to overthrow the government by force of arm and kill people. If I ever plan to execute anybody, I will not see heaven. I'm telling, I don't see God that you are see. Many of you will go in many places, counties, villages, and whatnot in houses. I am saying to you, if I, Chea Cheapoo, plan a coup to kill people, if I plan to execute people, some of the people who were instrumental in helping me to be where I am, then I will not go to heaven. My service to God must be in vain. I swear before my Maker. That's not my work. My work was to enforce justice. If the law says we can have a party and we're not able to fit in your party, just remember how the people impeached me by resolution. I went to court and ousted somebody by the decision of the court because you had no business in the people house. You're not working with them, then you can't stay on their property. Then they say, that was unbecoming of a senator. Senators are lawyers in this country. Richard Henry, the Speaker of the House for many years, he was a lawyer. He has a law firm. All of you know about Richard Henry law firm. Frank Tubber had a law firm. They were lawyers for all the companies that were here in the country. Then they would say, I went to court and won a case, therefore they will expel me from Senate. That it needed to be changed. They needed an opposition. And all I did was to make my services available to see that happen. I thought, oh, you're tired with me, eh? Oh. Yeah, I know. But that's not it. We're here now. This is the TRC. I see you're asking questions all kinds of ways. So I'm going to talk all kinds of ways, inclusively. So excuse me for that. You call me here, and I'm here. Lend me your ears, please. All right. So, when we were in office as Minister of Justice, God being my helper, I came from lunch. I think I went to lunch on Broad Street. There was a Lebanese man, he's still my friend on Randall Street now. I went there to eat. When I came back, I think it was around 4 o'clock in the evening. The woman that I met in the office, Irene, she's in the state now. I don't know whether she's still alive. She was secretary for Chesson. When I got there, she thought I was going to fire her. I said, no, she was there because she was very proficient. So I kept him there. When I walked in my office from lunch, he came to me and said, oh, Councillor, the people say they are executing people. I said, yeah. So I took the police radio. I said, this is Unit 1. Central, tell me, is there execution going on at the police at the barracks? He said, yeah, Chief. They have finished executing 4 people already. The other people are being tied on the pole. That's how I heard about the execution. And every day, each of you pray. Go and pray to your God. If I took part in making that decision, in firing those people, I will not see God. And my suffering will begin on this earth. Yeah, I'm not in government, but I'm well provided for. But God bless me. Mama say, when my brother and sister want anything, they will come in my house. It means I will provide. I have to have it to give them. I have to have matches to give my brother and sister. So Mama already gave me blessing. I don't suffer for anything. I'm a professional, experienced lawyer. Right now, I'm doing something to call legal services, legal aid society. Some people come to me and they don't pay. If you come to me, you get the money. I say, Chea Cheapoo is not a cheap lawyer. You may not retain me. You're not able to retain me. Or where you call, I get retainer every month. You give me $300. One man came to me and say, I want you to be the lawyer. I look all around, I don't see nobody. I say, you able to pay me? I don't take retainer shable. That thing, $300, $350. No. You're going to pay me more money because I put my name, my stamp on it. Chea Cheapoo. When people hear it, if you put care before any judge, you know the person coming before them. So they will give you justice, and I will demand that you get justice. That's not my doings. I have nothing to do with it. God knows. I didn't kill my father. If anything, I wish Chesson well. Chesson did not hate me. He didn't make me to believe that he hated me. Because when I was in prison, as Minister of Justice, he always asked about me. And the man always come to tell me that your father said you will not get. I think he just wanted to, as Minister of Justice, he can't be asking for a prisoner in there how he is. No, maybe they will say, oh, the man guy, you might he the one pumping the children. So he had to talk some kind of way. And that when that man get free, people get free from that place, he will not get free. And the man will come and tell me. So Chesson didn't hate me. So I would not have gone and planned for people to go execute him. It's not my job. It's not my work. And somebody say I'm going to go ahead with the issue. That is the issue. People tell me I killed my foster father for power. That's not true. When my foster father was killed, I already had power. I was the chief of security in this town. When they're shooting down Clara Town or West Point, I will go and say, all right, you shooting. This is Minister of Justice, Attorney General Liberia, Chea Cheapoo. If you shoot and kill me, I'm walking to you. I will kill your mom, your pa, your children, your grandpa. So I'm coming there to you now. If you know where I know, surrender your weapon. And I will walk to the bed and the man will, yeah, you don't want somebody to kill your children, your wife, your mom, your pa, you don't want that. So he will, the soldier, sometimes mostly drunk or on a drug, he will come and give his gun to me. So I used to disarm people around here. I am not a murderer. I'm a man who enforces justice. I didn't think we should be sent to jail for treason. I didn't think they should have prepared to kill us. I didn't think that the soldiers should have taken arms. Let God be the judge. So I am saying, maybe to save my life, God decided to inspire other people to do what was done. But it's not my making. If my maker did it, then you can't blame me. As you know, as Christians, you know God will always succeed of the plans of man. So if God said, God ordained it, it took place. It happened. Let us not go back to the old days, putting blame wrongly. Let us take the responsibility as a people. What happened in our nation, we should move forward so it will never happen again. Train our soldiers so they will dare not take gun against their masters in office. That's what I want Liberian people to do. To bring people. If you blame me, say, even just now, grab me and put me on the firing squad, it will not solve the problem. You're not coming to bring the people back. You're not coming to do nothing. So false blame will not help you. And look at that Chea Cheapoo man can't even get old. I'm very strong. I can run from here with you to the mansion. I'm not going now. I'm going to be here. You're going to have me to deal with. I will be a fellow citizen. And I will always stand for justice as usual. I know right now you won't get me in your government. That doesn't mean anything. I should be able, at my age, to sustain myself. I ain't got to be working in government all my life. I got more food on my table than people who working in the government because the salary is low. So, I'm not a murderer. What the PRC did was their own. Let me tell you the story, which I didn't know about organizing the government. When we got there that day at the mansion, first before they come and call us, I told Baker, me, I don't want to go. And I know very well, Mr. Kuya probably will remember, when Baker said, well, you know, that is the wrong thing to do now. Because if we are found disobeying the soldiers, they will develop problem with us. And you remember now, these people have in jail to be tried for treason before now they release us. We can't be found disobeying the people. So I think we should go to the barrack. I felt my own legal opinion on that matter was, you go overthrow your government and kill people, you go run your government, just let me go home. Let me go home. Because if I associate with you, people will blame me, just like they're doing now. But Baker said, no, we can't be found disobeying the soldiers, so let's go. So we went to the mansion. When we got there, Doe told us who was supposed to be head of state, who was supposed to be what. The only thing he didn't know, the nomenclature in law and the proper English. We told him he can call your group People Redemption Council. The person who had it, he can be head of state and chairman of that council. This other thing can do this. You can set up the same structure of government. You can have ministers to work under the chairman of the council. And you can have legislature. The People Redemption Council will be the legislature. You can have your Supreme Court. Yeah, the first Supreme Court justice that was appointed called Mr. What's his name? Balaze. I the one appointed Balaze. Hear me here. Yeah, I had power during the PRC. But I did not use my power vainly. I did not plan to go kill people. God, you know, if I'm lying, take care of me. You know what to do. So those say, well, we need somebody to be chief. I had gone to defend Doki down in what it was in Nimba County because they were arrested and in jail. I met Balazer there and he housed me. He fed me at his table. So when I got there and they said they needed chief justice, they needed a countryman chief justice. Yeah, I agree with that. Because everybody who was chief justice was Adam Grimes, Shannon, everybody. You know, we needed a Balazer to be chief justice. And I championed that. So I went way to Nima looking for a lawyer. I put his name on the list and they made Balazer chief justice. Even though when I left the chief justice chair and they put Balazer there, he wanted to take my Mercedes. I told him, no, Balazer, you know how you got to that place and I mean go call, send people to bring you? You should be telling Doe you can't take the car from me. So he sent there, I went, took my car and carried my pickup to the Alliance Motor people, Mr. Haddad, his father. Haddad was a small boy at that time. Then I said, Mr. Haddad, I brought my pickup. Here is the car you gave me. I told Haddad that we needed a reputable car for the Chief Justice, and there were no vehicles. Doe agreed for us to buy the cars. So I ordered so many Jeeps, and you see that they reached today. I ordered so many Mercedes. All the government ministers, the judiciary, all the judges got cars. They came from me. Judges ought not to stand in the street corner looking for taxis like us, the common people. They are people on a pedestal, and they should live like that. So I gave my judges cars. But those cars never came when I left the ministry or the Supreme Court. Mr. Haddad told me that's how I got the Mercedes. Mr. Cheapoo I don't have any good Mercedes here, but I will let you use my Mercedes until I send for your own. The car that I ordered when I was Chief Justice did not come and I left. So I was using the car for Haddad. So what I do when Balazer was asking for it, I just politely took it back to Haddad. I said, I brought my pickup, here is your car. He said, no, Mr. Cheapoo, I will go tell Doe that I gave you the car. That's how I got my car. I didn't get it by hook and crook. Or I didn't use power to take car from somebody. For your former Chief Justice to be telling me I'm going to bring a car. I didn't give it to him. Because it was not his, it was mine. That is the kind of man I am. And so, my fellow citizens, I know you suffer long during the conflict for change. People go and fight civil wars, and good people die. People are going tension perish in those civil wars. We are not the first nation to suffer like this. But this is in the course of nation building. Nation building tarried more than 1,000 years. But I leave with you my best wishes as you go along. You don't need to put me in your modern government. I have already been there. When Liberia wanted to do something, they will look for Councillor Cheapoo. I'm not boasting. I was laying in my house and PRC sent me documents. I could be raised, you know, let's call somebody else. The only thing I had a problem with the PRC, they didn't know how to spell my name. And so I was going to write them back and tell them, I'm not coming there until you learn to spell my name. How you will write history you can't spell. So Mahamusun told me, no. It will not compare to know how to write your name And my Muslim is the woman who can challenge me. She disabused me of my all my phalanges and my tripping here. He said, no, that name a country name said, you're not supposed to spell it. They can spell it country way. So you don't need to write them. Go and write your report, but don't put that. I'm going to write your letter. You want to take TRC learn to spell my proper name as a former official, former chief justice, former senator, former minister of justice here. I ain't coming there. My wife said, no. So I came here. I will be here. When you want to do anything in the country, Chea Cheapoo will be here. Me, I know you will include me. And the president there now, when she got elected, before she inaugurated her, she sent for me. She the one told me, I got a house in America. She told me, don't leave the country. You may not leave the country the way you did when Taylor took over. So I know president here. The people who I know very well say, your friend will ask for you. I don't go to the mansion. I'm too old now to be following children going to the mansion. What are you looking for? I can feed myself. Yeah, I'm not rich. I didn't get money from government because I was strict. But one thing I tell y'all who coming from government, you need a government to have a system of retirement. You have made laws, very, very good laws, but you don't have preparation for people who serve you when they retire. You don't take care of them. So they steal from you. That's why you're crying for corruption. When you leave government, you are forgotten. Just like they put you in the grave, put the mud there, you can't talk, you can't hear anything, so they don't even got to worry about you. Once you're out of that office, Liberian people finish with you. The government finish with you, despite you serve them well. You need to put down, TRC, one of your recommendations to do is for the Liberian government to put in place an honorable retirement for government officials. For public servants, you say you don't want corruption, people may not steal you money, then you must make it clear that, look, there's money here for something else. But when you are leaving, I will fill your pocket. I will provide for you. When people know that, they will stop corruption. But talking on the radio, disabusing people publicly, that will not stop them from stealing. Because when you leave government, they forget about you. Chea Cheapoo in this town, when the new government, even though the president called me, when she got got in office, to talk with me, You think President Johnson don't know as somebody she will call me? No, she was calling a Chea Cheapoo. She know how I stand. But when they're having their luncheon and all their celebration, they don't call Cheapoo. They call different people. Different people who don't have the class, who have not built a reputation in the country. When you out, you out. When you in, you in. So fill your pocket when you leave. When they don't call you, you all right. So I'm asking, lend me your ears, ladies and gentlemen. Please lend me your ears. I have not talked for a long time. I know the TRC tired hearing me, but that's why I don't talk. When I start talking, I talk until I'm exhausted, until I close the point. The point had to be closed legally and prospectively, according to the agenda. The agenda here, I'm accused of being one of those who killed my fellow Liberians. Yeah, there's not an indictment, but I know how it goes. I am a prosecutor myself. Those are singular, profound charges on my reputation and those of my people after me. I have to exhaust myself so that when you go and sit down, after reading my note, you will reflect upon all that I have said here. That will give you approbation, whether or not I am a criminal, a murderer, or I'm just a citizen who speaks my mind. That's why I'm talking long. I've never had the opportunity for a long time, so bear with me. Now, I come back to say this. Let us put, I see in your document, whether there will be trial, whether, I don't know, your cook can't even convey me, I ain't even worry about that. Because you ain't got evidence where people plan to do anything, none of my people. I see them playing nothing. So y'all go set up, y'all set up, what it is, war crime tribunal. Y'all better make me judge because you will now find me guilty. So I'm not afraid of that. You got no evidence. I was behind bars when the coup occurred. I was in my office. I heard the execution on the radio. Now I see people make cassette during the election where you saw me talking. Well, you have a military junta. They went in their council and they made a decision and wrote a decree. And according to their approbation, the crime that you're now talking about was equivalent to the penalty of death. Now they have exercised and enforced their judgment. What is it that I have to do with it? You look for, look on a video, you'll see Cheapoo talking. I still believe that today. And I mean, I see people who used to go behind the TRC, tell the soldier all kinds of things. They and all will be in a video. If I was a terrible man like people think I am, I will go and make a video too. I will go and make a video and tell people what they did, what I saw. I know their record when I was Minister of Justice. I know what they did. I know how they acquired their properties. I know people who stole government money. I will talk it. But I don't want to do it. No, I'm not disposed to doing that. That's not the issue. The issue here is whether or not the People Progressive Party's leadership and members participated in the horrible occasion that took place during our time. I said no. I have provided all the evidence. I have provided instances. I told you the conditions and everything. You have to go and make judgment for yourself. Certainly, God knows. The PPP did not plan to overthrow any government. Neither did we plan to execute us. I, Chea Cheapoo, did not kill my foster father. God knows that. My foster father did not hate me. He always sent people in the jail to ask about me. And he put it in that way just for the soldier not to know that he had dealing with me. So I could not have gone to plan to keep about Chesson in Namadu. Chesson helped me to be where I am. He fed me. He clothed me. He advised me. I got to be a lawyer. I wanted to be like Chesson, a strong, dynamic lawyer. Do you know Chesson was not a lawyer, but when crisis came in the country, Toba put him back as Minister of Justice. I learned that astuteness, forthrightness, transparency. I learned it from Chesson to be a modern man. God knows his death. I have no part in it. If I don't have any part in it, God knows he will bless me. If I have part in it, my judgment should be that I will not see God's face. This is my prayer to you. I thank you. I hope I didn't take too long. A lawyer got long-winded case, utterances. When we go before the Supreme Court, we cite law, we read law, we go long time, because when I close my case, I want you to have all the information necessary and have all of the law involved before you. Then you can make a sane, wise, and justiciable decision. That's why I took so long to make my disposé, to submit to you my presentation. I want you to go to your homes, those of you who are sitting in the audience. When you see them called Cheapoo, also Queer, Backward Matthew, and others, to talk about the atrocity that took place in our country, you must remember, this country will call you if you got in the same circumstances that I'm in today, or that I was in. So as you go, make sure in your life not to do things that will implicate you. Maybe this was our mistake. Maybe as a lawyer, I didn't have time. I should not have had time to go to a group. All my friends in my work, I have a higher position than all of them. I didn't have to come down to them. I should have gone. One man told me, you didn't have approbation in prison. You should have gone to True Whig Party and show penitent, you will be back in office. You're the educated people, and you come here joining the children or in the street. Well, I didn't think it was not all about me getting a good job or getting a good place in the society. It was about the society creating a condition for all citizens to have a good place in it. And that's what I work for. If you say, because I was in it, all the wrong that took place, I'm part of it, yes, I was there. I was there. But the thing I did was not to murder people. I wanted another party in this country, and I did form one. And I made sure that the multi-party system here. And I will pray to God when I leave and be here. But I did not murder people in the process. I did not plan. I did not execute. I did not lay in wait. I did not suggest to anyone to have a coup and kill a sitting president and other official and go and execute them. As you all know, look at your video that is now circulating. The court-martial bowl of the Republic of Liberia, of the Armed Forces of Liberia, there is a court-martial bowl. This is not something that somebody just come. And you remember, those of you who are older people than me, there was a time before when all this thing was going on, I think the True Whig Party sensed that there would have been a problem. So he put all the big, Richard Henry was the Major General in the army. He inducted all the True Whig Party officials into the Liberian Armed Forces. I remember very well that Richard Henry, the speaker, he was made Major General. This man who got the estate now, who was True Whig Party chairman, Goodrich was Major General. The vice president was made general. Some were made general, some were made Major General, Lieutenant General. They were all in the army. So when the coup occurred, the soldiers said they were military people. And they made the decision. And not me. The People Redemption Council did not tell, the same way from the beginning they told us, put Doe as chairman of People Redemption Council. Put this person as speaker. Put the other person as secretary general. They told us what to do. And after a while, when the struggle got tough, they put all of us in the army. All the ministers were made. Me, I'm major in the army. I have not retired, and the army not communicating with me, but I'm still a soldier. So somebody told me, I heard that in Vanjima recently, that some of the people went and got their money when they were dividing money to the AFL. I said, oh, I didn't know that. So the next time they do it, I'll go get my money. Because I'm still a major in the army. I'm not retired. I have no communication, so for all the time I was sitting down, I'm a sitting major, I need to get my money. For the police, I'm Lieutenant General of the Liberia National Police. I still got my badges, I got my uniform in America, and I got my documents. So when policemen arrest me for my old picker, the other day I will come and say, my man, you don't buy a license. So then why you don't get a license? I said, my man, you know what you did just now? He said, no. I said, you arrested the former Minister of Justice. He said, eh? Oh man, go, yeah? You Chea Cheapoo? I said, go. That's how I live in here. Policemen can't arrest me. They can't do anything. Even when I go to court, judge will stand up. Chief, hello. All the workers in justice. Now, Chief, since you left high in this place here, the people know me all around. I will be here for a long time with you. I wish you well, Liberians. We wanted your country to be a good country, a democratic country. Let us love one another. You should begin to be marrying Americo-Liberian girls. Americo-Liberians, don't take native girls just as your girlfriend to born something they call outside children. Marry them too. Let us integrate. Be proud to take out a native woman's daughter and marry her and educate her and go out proudly in your churches and let people see that she is your daughter. That will help to integrate us. Not to just use them behind in private rooms and having children. No. And don't be afraid of the Americo-Liberians. The Americo-Liberian girls are the sweetest in this country. Yes. They will talk to you, they will talk fine English to you, they will talk to you nicely, they will treat you better, they will feed you. All the Americo-Liberian girls that I know, they will feed you, they know how to bake, they know how to cook, they can take care of men very good. I saw it in my father's house. Mommy used to go in the kitchen. They had cook, one basket man. But this woman, on Sunday, or on good day that she's not too busy, she was lawyer for Lamco. She will go down there in the kitchen and order the cooking. And one day, mommy in our kitchen, the food will be sweet. They know how to cook. They will civilize your children because they come from a civilized, prolonged civilized background. But I'm just thinking, socially, that will unite us. There won't be another coup. It won't be the Cheapoo against the Toba or the Queer against the Dennises. No. If you have Dennis' daughter to be the mother of your children, certainly you're not going to be afraid. The Dennises will dare do nothing that will harm you. We will be safe. So let us integrate and let us work together. And government, you don't want your people to continue stealing. You have to put measure on the ground that will stop them from stealing, not by prosecution. Because if people retire, you government, you don't do anything for them. You abandon them. People got to raise money for former ministers who died to go bury them. They should have a burial for honorable people who died, for senators, for representatives. Not to go borrow money before you come into the capital. No. I should have a burial fund. You should have a burial fund to do that. So prepare for your people that are serving you so that when they leave, they will not be ashamed. They will not be looking like nothing. Then the people will say, okay, this man is not a good man. The system is not good. Unless you do something for yourself, they will not care for you. So care for your retired people. Fight for them. Protect them. Make them be happy for being with you and serving you. I leave with you again, good wishes. You say you have a glorious land of liberty in your law, but you have not lived here as people in a glorious land of liberty. You have not done that. You still fight among yourselves. You still pick and choose. I see you worrying about the new government going to America and bringing Liberians to work. I don't see anything wrong with that. This woman looking for professional, experienced people in a conflict-ridden society, in a corrupt society, where government officials are known for stealing government money and not doing anything. She wanted to make a difference. She wants to make a difference. So she's going around bringing people that she thinks will help us achieve our aim. Yes, those of us who suffer in the war, we were here. And we think that those positions, those flashy cars, we should be the one riding those cars because we survived the war. Well, that's not a way to build Liberia. When we say the conflict is over and we cook the food, it's in the dish, all members of the family supposed to put their hand in there. There are no selective citizens better than the others. We are all citizens. Even if you ran away and were in America for your life, now that the peace has arrived in our country, you have a right to come here and take part. And if the sitting government feel that you can do better, they should give you that position. I don't envy them. So I don't want you to talk about it. Those of you who want government position, the way to get it is to go back to school. When I left the village, I went to school. That's why you hear the Chea Cheapoo. If I didn't have anything to do in the community, nobody will hear my name. So I challenge you. Fight for education, fight for the right, and abolish corruption. Don't connive with people to steal. Our Bible says thou shalt not steal. But stealing has paralyzed the development of our country. One of the reasons, new parties, that we decided to have another party, the True Whig Party has led this country for 100 years. There are no roads, as I think I alluded to it earlier. No good bridges. No cities, no airports, our seaports, our educational institutions they are not on standard internationally. We've been here over 100 years. We don't have standardized institutional centers. Either they are non-existent or they are decadent and under standard. You have a country that you call the glorious land of liberty. Why don't you make it glorious in its performance, in the dealing with its citizens, in giving rights and dishing out opportunity? Make it glorious. You have the power to do it. You have the ability. You got the resources. And I don't like the whole thing about you talking about foreign investor to come. What time you will get up to organize company and find money in the international community to come develop your country? Everybody looking for something they call international investors. No! Why you can't look for national investors? Yet our banks are all here. Make contact with your government to open credit system for you. So you yourself can develop your country the way you want. You can build your companies and make money. So we're not looking from now on, yes.
I'm sorry.
So now, I'm going too far. I thought this thing was working. That's why I'm holding them out. Thank you. But the thing I'm saying is that I'm pointing out the root causes of the hunger, the inability to buy rice. We had a rice riot in which so many people died. But still, after the war, we still have the increased price of rice. Rice is an issue. Why don't you get up and go and produce rice? We need some citizens. I will say, well, for me, then the rice is a very good commodity here. I will go and then I will make farm. I will produce rice. No, all want to be in Monrovia. We all want to be lawyers and reverend. Well, reverend got to eat after preaching. So you have the right to develop your country. Yeah, international investor can come. But you too should be an investor in your own country. Sorry if I'm very windy and long speaking, but you call me here to tell you what I know about this world. And so, in my own view, I think I have told you. I thank you for the time, your patience, and for everything. The only thing I need right now, really, I need a cold bottle of water.
I'll get that.
Thank you very much.
We need
Yeah, please.
The man talk for it. Yeah, and he got to sit down.